Right. How's everybody doing tonight? Hopefully, I can put on a good show for you guys. It's going to be a long run, so I hope you guys enjoy. So this is Final Fantasy X PC Any Percent. We're going to do the standard grid, and I don't know if anybody likes the original soundtrack, but the original soundtrack is not very good. So we're going to go OG. We're going to go for the original PS2, because it's way better. Alright, so on confirmation of original soundtrack is when the timer will start. Scav, if you could try and crop in the live split as well at the bottom, if possible. I'd appreciate that. But yeah, once we get started, or once that happens, we'll take a look and we'll get started.
I guess I'll introduce myself in the meantime. I'll be the co-commentator in this run. My name's Cambo Steve. I also run this game, so I'm waiting for the long 9.5 hours, right?
Yeah, Steve, I think he's 8th on the boards right now? 9th?
8th on PC, yeah.
So I guess we're just gonna go ahead and go, and we can get the cropping thing fixed later. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and count down. On confirmation, we'll go ahead and start. So 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so right off the bat, we're gonna start off with our first skip. Very few people know about this. If you mash select during this cutscene, you skip like 2 minutes of it. Alright, there we go.
Listen to my story.
So that's the first skip. There's not too many skips
our last chance.
that we're going to be doing in this run, but I'm going to try my best to explain what's going on. And yeah, there's a couple of skips that are exclusive only to the PC.
So yeah, PC has this thing called storage skip where well, first I should explain that. In the PC version of Final Fantasy X, you can skip FMVs for this remaster, and we're gonna be using a glitch called storage skip, where we can skip a lot more than we should, and saves a handful of minutes throughout the run.
Thanks, Gav. I appreciate that. All right, so now that Scav's got the live split thing at the bottom fixed, I can go ahead and explain that for a bit. On PC, to try and make things fair and balanced for everybody that's on the leaderboard, we use a load remover for live split. So that's what you're looking at the bottom. You'll see 2 different timers going at the same time. The green one is time without loads. That's what we normally go with as a representation of how well we've done in the run. But it's also a requirement as well to have the time with loads added on, which is the second number. So right here, we're just going through a little bit of story. Just gotta talk to these guys, those 3 little kids, and then these 2 chicks that Tidus is obviously flirting with.
Nothing to worry about.
And we'll progress a little bit further.
I'll do this. That will mean it was for you, okay?
Also,
What seat?
if anybody has any questions about any sort of lore or anything that they can think of during the course of the run, please feel free to ask. Me and Steve here will do our best to answer it as much as possible. There's going to be quite a substantial amount of downtime, especially around the second and third hours, right after Luca, heading into Mushroom Rock Road. There's gonna be a lot of downtime during those splits, so it'd be a good opportunity for donation readings or any sort of things like that.
Promise.
Zanarkand.
That's right. Alright, so in this little segment we're gonna be introduced to Tidus's old man Jecht for the first time. Get a little bit of background story with him. about how he came to disappear, I guess would be the best way to describe it. Also, we get to run along this really, really long road and try and play dodgeball with people.
I was in a coffee shop running away from home when I heard the news. Our hero, checked, gone, vanished into thin air. My dad must have been his biggest fan. I knew how sad he'd be. Heck, we all were that day.
I want to be myself when I grow up.
I will make sure that I talk to him just for that. Alright, so coming up here, once we weave our way through the crowd, we'll be seeing our first FMV skip. This is an intended FMV skip. Devs decided that this was one that we really didn't need to watch if you didn't want to. It's unfortunate that we're going to skip it because it's such good music, but we're just going to go ahead and get rid of that and continue along. Right here we're going to be introduced to Titus's second dad, Oren. For some reason he's just kind of hanging out here waiting with all this destruction hanging out beside him. You know, he's just like, yeah, you know, this was intended. This is also where we learn about a little bit of foreshadowing. For those who don't know the story, keep an eye on this kid. You'll see him again sometime. Possibly.
It begins.
Coming up here is also another FMV skip. Something special with this skip is that if you get it first frame, I believe there's a floating Oran glitch. Is that right?
Yes. So some of the FMVs, while they were intended to be skipped, they have some weird side effects if you skip them too fast. Because certain actions need to play during the FMVs for something to happen, and the programmers didn't really do a good job with this port of programming it stable. So one of the side effects of this FMV that's coming up, I'm going to try my best to time it so that I can get it right. But if it happens, Oren gets frozen in place for the next couple of screens, and it's actually quite funny. And nah, I was a frame off. But basically what ends up happening is all his animations get locked into place at the beginning of each of his screens, and it's kind of funny. This FMV is another naturally skippable FMV, but I'm going to perform the first instance of storage. I'm going to wait until the very end of the FMV, and I'm going to bring up the prompt if you were paying attention to the bottom right corner of the screen. I brought up the prompt to skip that FMV but didn't use it. So one of the weird things about this game is whenever you bring up the prompt to skip an FMV, the developers never thought that you would never not use it. So there's not a flag removal system. So when you hit start to bring up the prompt, if you never use it, when the FMV's over, the flag that says, hey, the prompt is skipped is still there.
I hope you know how to use it.
So this is unintended, obviously. And what it ends up doing is I can take that skip flag into another FMV that I normally can't use it in.
These ones don't.
So here we're just going to run through these sin scales. I'm going to defend with Titus here, right? It's going to skip a turn in the third wave. Under normal circumstances, the middle sin scale will cast spines right off the bat. But because we defended, Titus gets a turn before him and we can kill it before it happens.
And that's a little taste of the run. A lot of the battles are going to be exact turn orders and everything. This game's not very super RNG heavy, but yeah, okay. There's a little bit of RNG, but compared to other content, it's a lot easier to get into, which is why we highly recommend if you're interested in playing a Final Fantasy game, even despite its length, 10 is a really good one to start with.
Alright, so this is since spawn Ames. You really can't gain or lose any time in this fight. It's pretty scripted. You can't die because all he uses is Demi. But what we want to do is we want to kill it before it casts the 5th Demi, so that's number 1. It's also a little bit of an opportunity for them to teach us how to use the overdrive system. So we're going to use overdrive here. If I can get it, there we go. The only other thing that we can do to kind of speed the process up is hope that we get good luck with crits. And good damage rolls, obviously. So far we have 2 really bad damage rolls when it comes to overdrives, but that Orin crit kind of saves it. Like I said, we want to see Ames go down before the 5th cast, and we're at cast number 3 already. It also doesn't help that I failed Dragon Fang a couple of times, so we're kind of a little bit behind on time here already. But it'll be dead next turn, which is, that's 5 demis, and that's pretty okay. 5 demis is about average. Nice useless crit there, Orin.
So we call those final hit crits or whatever. It doesn't matter because the enemy was going to die anyways in that attack, so that crit's just kind of wasted.
Alright, so the next fight that we have before we exit Dreams Enterkind is the biggest instance of RNG this early in the run. It's the tanker fight. I'm gonna be manipulating turn order so that I skip a cutscene, essentially. Under normal circumstances, the game, if Orin and Tidus are both up, Orin will tell you to knock the tanker down. But if you, let's say Orin died somehow, or Tidus gets enough turns in, that cutscene never plays. So I'm going to manipulate turn order here so that Tidus gets 3 turns before Orin's 2nd turn. And by doing that, we're going to do a couple of weapon swaps in menu, or in the fight. So I'm going to do a weapon swap to longsword, and that's going to give Orin his turn. We're going to attack self because it's just faster to do it this way. Now we have to wait for seeing either if the scales attack or if they do wings flicker. If wings flicker happens, that's the best case scenario, because once the flickers happen, the scales stop going. Like all the other scales stop attacking until that scale gets its spines off. So this is pretty good RNG. I only had 2 attacks, so it's really good. It's a pretty solid Dreams Anarchin. It's a decent start. So Tidus knocks that over, he knocks this giant building over and takes out all the scales. And we continue forward.
Coming up here is going to be our first instance of store skip. So if you remember a while back, Keanu brought up the script prompt in the last FMV, but didn't use it. The reason for this is that we're going to use it here. This scene is normally unskippable. But because we have used the storage skip, we can skip this cutscene.
There's going to be at least 4 or 5 other instances. There's going to be like 5 other times that I'm gonna do that that storage. But there are those. This is the only one that I do it. This is the only storage that I do the way that I did. Every other one has a slightly different nuance to it. The next one that I'm going to be doing is going to occur in Keeanolookalike, so about an hour and a half from now.
Yeah, and that's universally considered the hardest one to get because you have a 2-frame window. So we'll see when we get it. When we get there, I mean.
I thought about a lot of things. Like where I was, what I got myself into. I started to feel lightheaded, and then sleepy. I think I had a dream. a dream of being alone. I wanted someone, anyone, beside me, so I didn't have to feel alone anymore.
Bon, I am also a very big fan of Riku. Riku's probably
Uh-oh.
my favorite.
Is this gonna be a question of which is best waifu?
I mean, there is a lot of talk in chat as to best girl in Final Fantasy X.
Anybody?
I'm gonna have to give my points to Lulu on this one.
Everybody seems to like Lulu.
No. Riku's great though. Yuna is probably the lowest. Sorry, Yuna.
Sorry, Yuna.
Sorry, Yuna.
Alright, so we've officially washed up on Inspira, and now we're trying to fight for survival. We're just going to continue along. We're going to follow the red arrow on the mini-map and progress the story a little bit. We're skipping quite a lot of things, so for all those completionists of RPGs, this is probably not a run that's going to make you feel too happy, because I'm going to be skipping quite a lot of stuff.
Coming up next is the Sahagin battle. We're looking for a preemptive strike here. Preemptive allows us to skip a lot of animations we won't be able to see, like the Sahagin attack animation. Saves a lot of time.
Preemptive has a 12.5% chance of occurring, just as equally ambush, which is kind of sucky if I get, has a 12.5% chance. And in order to finish the Sahagin fight, you have to kill 2 of the 3. So the faster that we get those 2 knocked out, the faster the fight goes, obviously, and the more time we save. And then adversely, with the Geo fight, I have a really hard time pronouncing his name, so I just call him Geo.
Really, I call him the ribcage.
That fight has a lot of stuff that happens that a lot of people really didn't notice. So we had a neutral battle. This is pretty normal.
So yeah, for the ribcage, we're looking for an ambush because the next scene triggers once Titus gets his HP to a certain threshold. So ambush is actually one of the few good RNGs. Well, this is one of the few times in the run where we want an ambush.
Yeah. The Geo fight ends on after Geo's 3rd turn. So if we get ambushed, it saves us time because it's less turns that Tidus has. And we're not going to be attacking Geo because we don't need to, because like I said, this is a turn counter fight. So we're just going to be defending as many times as possible. Unless I get preempt. If I get preempt, I'll try and burn a turn a different way. So it's pretty normal. You can't die in this fight either because every time Geo punches you, it does half damage. So the fight ends, Geo tries to eat us, and we swim away as fast as we can. Thank you, Zuru, and thank you for the good luck. I appreciate that. I've always thought, running this game, like, in the alternate universe that Tidus gets eaten, he just hangs out in the ribcage. What does he do then? Does he just, like, does he just hang out in there and die? Or does he, like, with his sword try and cut his way out? Or what?
Just roll credits.
I had made it out of the frying pan and into the freezer. I thought I was gonna die in this place.
Alright, so at the top of the stairs, I'm going to open the menu for the first time, and I'm going to change some configurations around. Steve, if you want to explain what that is.
Yeah. So, one of the things we do to save time passively is we're going to change the cursor to memory and the Aeon animation to short. So what that does is that whenever we're in battle, the cursor will always be in the last option we choose. So in that situation, we can just kind of, I don't want to say spam, but yeah, as long as we know where we last left our cursor, we can predict where we need to go next. And the Aeons to short is just changing the animations of them summoning and their overdrives to a shorter sequence, so that way we can save time passively throughout the run. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, we summon Aeons a few times throughout the run, so it can save probably maybe a handful of minutes, I would say.
Yeah. Veil 4 and Shiva's animation. Veil 4 and Shiva are the two Aeons that we summon most often. Shiva's animation especially is very long. So the more of that we can cut out, the better. So right here in Bosch Temple, we're just on a little fetch quest. Conveniently, there is flint and steel and something to light a fire in this random dry pit of fire wood. Let's just hang out in the middle of this temple for us to get warm on. So we'll just, you know, light the fire, get a little bit of warmth, hang out in preparations for our next boss fight. Also, during that menu, I burned... You start off automatically with 10 potions in inventory. I burned 3 of them, and believe it or not, potion count kind of plays an integral role in inventory management throughout the run. The way that menus and inventory works in this game is if you have consumed all of an item, you have left essentially a void in your backpack, and nothing else cycles back into it. But the very next item that you pick up drops into that item slot.
Your team lost because of you.
So I keep a very specific amount of potions in my inventory since it's the first option.
10 years.
And once I get to a certain point, I want to be able to make it so that I run out of potions and the very next item that I really need lands in the first slot. It just makes inventory management a little bit easier. Yes, we do use shortened animations on the Aeons, and it only does the full animation on the first summon. That is correct. During that menu where I changed my cursor to memory, I also changed the Aeon animations to short. That's like Steve was saying, it saves about 2 to 3 minutes overall if I was to leave it. If I was to leave it on full.
Yeah, it's a very nice time save. Alright, so coming here is the Click boss fight. So yeah, there's 2 phases to the Click. The first phase is just Titus and Click dueling it out. We're looking for some dodges here, or crits. Crits would be very nice because that means you get to skip a turn, and dodges are also nice because that way you don't have to heal yourself for the next phase.
It takes 6 attacks in order to push Click into phase 2. Crits count as 2, obviously. So that's number 3.
Nice dodge.
4. That's 5. I'm gonna go ahead and potion just to be safe. I have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to potion count, so it's better to go ahead and use a potion before this phase ends, since you have the extra turn. So here's where
sorry.
Go ahead.
We're in phase 2 now, and this is where we need a mysterious diver. We're gonna count our grenades here. So this diver has 2 grenades coming in, and we want a certain amount of grenades for the next boss fight. So a lot of Final Fantasy is just setting up for future boss fights down the road. And, sorry to interrupt.
All right, that's fine. So it's a little bit of a tutorial on teaching us how to use grenades. We're gonna go ahead and throw the first one. I need to pay attention to the damage roll. That was a really low damage roll, so that kind of means that I have to get these steals off first try in order to stay ahead of count. In order to stay ahead. Alright, that's 2. We're done. So, the way that stealing in this game works, the first steal is guaranteed. You are 100% guaranteed to get a steal, whether it be rare or normal, on the first try. Your rares are 12.5% again. So after that, everything gets cut in half. So we go from a 100% to a 50%, and then the rare steals obviously get cut in half as well. So it goes from 12 to 6, and so on and so forth. Getting that 50% steal is really, really crucial depending on your first grenade throw's damage roll, because if you keep failing that 50% steal, you're wasting your DPS that you could be getting with Riku.
That was close.
And because that first grenade rolled really low, it basically meant that I needed all of Riku's attacks after her second steal. So like, the damage rolls in that are kind of tight. But I got through the fight pretty easily. We're on decent pace, I guess.
Yeah, that fight was pretty good.
And the 3 grenades are going to set us up for the next boss fight. I need 6 total in order to get through that boss. So the earlier that I get them, the better. It just makes things a little bit easier. Kuno, I'm sorry. So now we find ourselves on the Albed boat. Wondering what the ham sandwich is going on. And if you'd like, I can translate for you, because I know how to speak Albed.
Oh?
Slightly. He said, "Sit, captive."
Hey, that hurts.
And then he said, "You behave here."
Whoa. Okay.
Dude. Is that what they really say?
Yes, that's really what they say.
I
Brother-
never know.
Brother just said, "Search him." Although they don't do a very good job of searching him, because he's got a pocket full of grenades and a sword in his back pocket. Brother just said, "Do you not speak?"
I said I don't understand.
Insolence.
Fed!
Wait.
He said you can stay if you make yourself useful.
As you can tell, I play this game
understand
way
me?
too much.
One day I want to do a speedrun where I
Alright.
can just get all the Albed translated,
Oh.
but that's kind of disqualified in leaderboards, so I don't ever do it.
Yeah. Again, alternate universe where they decide to go ahead and just slit your throat. Exactly. There's so many different instances of just, I wonder what would happen if this happened. Alright, so here's the sphere grid tutorial. I don't know if you guys need to know about how the sphere grid works, but we're not going to be using it very much in this run. We'll be doing some gridding, but not nearly as much as you would think that we need to do in order to get through get through the late game bosses. I won't spoil exactly what we're going to do, but for those who have never watched a speedrun of Final Fantasy X or actually utilized some of your characters the way that they're meant to, you're in for a small treat. At least I think so. So yeah, this is just a tutorial that's going to tell us how to use the sphere grid, how to navigate through it, all the different things that you can and can't do with it. But I don't care. I don't need to do it. In order to progress, though, we're going to talk to Riku again,
It's not
and
active
we're going to
now.
go into the next
We're gonna
area.
go down, and then we should be able. Okay.
Another one of those weird things that the PC port in particular likes, weird menu buffers, or weird movement buffers rather. You can't see it. Normally I have an input viewer up on stream whenever I'm playing, but right now I was on that screen. I was holding up and circle at the same time, but I was going down and away from the screen. And sometimes it's just weird. This screen right here, I can get a random encounter. I kind of want a random encounter, to be honest with you. But sometimes you don't get it. If you don't get it, it's nice because you save a little bit of time, but I kind of need the encounter. So this is one of those encounters I'm just going to steal a couple of times from. Hopefully Riku doesn't die, because I need her. Okay, we're good. So we have our... We got 2 steals off on those guys. That's going to give us 2 extra grenades. And we're going to progress into the next area. So as you can tell from that last battle, everybody's at really low health right now. Conveniently, right as soon as we enter the ruins, there's a save sphere chilling right there. And whenever you touch a save sphere, it fully regenerates all health. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah,
So
this
everybody...
is the first... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
This is the first Final Fantasy where... back then, you had to go rest in hotels and inns to recover your health, but because now you can recover your whole your whole HP and MP by touching save spheres, they kind of rendered those obsolete now.
I think it was 9 was the last one where if you were like on a save sphere, you could use a tent or something like that.
Yeah.
Oof. Getting ambushed here sucks. It means I have to look at 2 extra attack animations. But I need 1 more grenade, but I'm gonna save a battle animation by going ahead and attacking that first one. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get the steal off. So now I'm at 6 grenades. We're at a good spot. Hopefully Riku doesn't get it. I think I'm good on not potioning.
Yeah, you should be fine.
As long as she doesn't get hit, or as long as Trost doesn't ambush us again.
Yeah.
So that encounter also gave me a speed sphere drop. Speed spheres are one of the most important parts of this run. The route for which I'm taking, I need 16 of them total. So the earlier that I get them, the better. And there's not going to be too many instances where I'm going to be able to obtain them. So the faster that I get them, the better off that I am. So the fact that I got 1 there kind of sucks, because I would really prefer to see 2, but at least I got 1. So that's going to guarantee me to at least have 3 leaving Besaid.
Yeah, speed speeds are very valuable in this run.
Alright, so with this grenade throw, I want to see a certain damage. Anything less than 330, I'm going to have to heal her. Anything less than 350 means that Trost won't run away, so that's kind of nice. That means I get the 1 cycle. So after 350 damage is done to Trost, he swims away from you. And a lot of people really didn't know this, but he says you're out of range, but throwable attacks will reach him. So we're going to chuck a couple more grenades at Trost and deal a little bit of extra damage while he's over there. This also sets up our turn order quite nicely for whenever Trost comes back to our side of the field. I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's a good thing that I potioned, because Riku took over 200 damage. But yep, that's Trost's fight. Trost is dead, and we're gonna continue on now. Kind of guy who can't enjoy a game unless I play with this here. I don't have time to stuck all the way back with FF1. So that's one of the cool things about Final Fantasy. Very few of them are actually like sequels to each other.
Yeah, each Final Fantasy normally has its own self-contained stories, so you don't have to play, say, 7, play 10.
And yeah, that's something else that I didn't mention. We're using, for this route, or for this run, we use the standard sphere grid. Back in the day, it used to be on the leaderboard for the expert sphere grid, but nobody really ran it. So, because nobody really ran it, we just kind of took it off the boards. So in this screen, we're just, you know, swimming, exploring what we just ended up happening to notice at the bottom of the river, or about at the bottom of the ocean. So once we get to a certain point, you know, Titus looks down and he's like, oh crap, look at this giant rock thing that I just found. Not gonna lie, the first time that I ever played this game on PS2, because the graphics weren't that good, I couldn't tell what I was looking at. It also looked like, it looked like just part of the rocks.
Yeah, same here, dude. It's funny enough that I didn't notice what this was until I started speedrunning this game, so I was really late coming into it.
Hey man, no problem, Scav. I was more than happy to do a run for you. I wish that I do some shorter runs, but I'm a glutton for punishment when it comes to longer runs. I've always been a big fan of RPGs, so to be able to speedrun RPGs is kind of like a win-win for me.
Hey!
So we got a couple cutscenes coming up, so a bunch of story stuff. There's two different types of cutscenes. There's ones where you can skip the dialogue and ones where you can't. So normally in these scenes where we can't skip dialogue, runners would usually take a break, go get some water or use the restroom or anything like that. Which makes this run really nice to run, to be honest. Even though it's so long, there's so many breaks that you can utilize, so you don't really feel.
Right on!
But you're not really focused for the full 9.5 hours. You can go out and do stuff.
It's actually kind of a living meme amongst the community that runs this game as to what we can do during our breaks. A couple of PS2 runners, because PS2 you can't skip any of the FMVs, so a lot of the breaks are a lot longer. There's a couple of PS2 runners who have taken full showers during the run while the stream's still playing. Some people have cooked an entire steak dinner during the run. It's kind of one of those weird things where we just try to figure out how many different things we can,
Hello there.
that
What's
would
your name?
normally take a lot of time and focus, that we can knock out during these breaks.
You really do understand.
Personally, one of my favorite breaks is in Luca during one of the most iconic scenes
Why
in
didn't you say so
in the run.
earlier?
I didn't get a chance to. Everyone thought
I'll
we were
normally
meat.
go during that cutscene and I'll run into the kitchen and I'll throw a pizza
We?
into the oven.
We means you.
And then by the time I get to my next super long break, the pizza's perfectly ready and done.
Who
And I can
are
have a
you
nice
guys
nice
anyway?
dinner. It's all about
I don't know.
timings.
Can't you tell?
I think I've done laundry during these
You're not
breaks.
an Albed hater, are you?
Folding
I don't even know
clothes.
what an Albed is.
I've heard of
Where are you
people, like I said,
Xanarkin?
doing the shower,
Blitzball
having
player?
a steak dinner,
Star player
taking
of the
naps.
Xanarkin Abes?
like just straight up just laying down and going to take a nap for a
Hit your
couple of
head or
minutes.
something?
I've done that.
Really? Oh
You
man,
guys hit me?
if I took a nap, I wouldn't wake up, so I never do that.
Oh, right. Do you
I
remember
think it
anything before
was not this last PB that I got, but it was the one in last summer that broke world record. During the Makalania
So I told her
cutscene, I
everything
definitely
there
remember
was to
putting
tell
an
about
alarm
Xanarkin.
on my phone and
About
sitting in my
life
chair and
there,
falling asleep
Blitzball,
because I had
and
just
Sin's
gotten off
attack.
work when I started the run.
And about how Aaron and I were engulfed in this light. I just said things as they came to mind.
Took a
Then I
4-minute
started
power
to
nap,
wonder.
woke up, had a good rest of the run.
Did I something
Steak
funny?
dinners.
You were near Sin.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry, you'll be better in no time. They say your head gets funny when Sin is near. Maybe you just had some kind of dream?
Let's see here.
You mean I'm sick?
Because of Sin's toxin, yeah.
Okay.
You sure?
Yeah,
So
there is no
it's
Xanarkand
about-
anymore. Sin destroyed it 1,000
48
years ago.
seconds of difference between.
So no one plays blitzball there.
To be honest, from what I'm seeing, I don't think I could stand Tidus. Tidus does get a bit annoying. Yeah, so you gotta think, right?
What do you mean?
Tidus is 17.
1,000 years ago.
So you have to also put into context
I
that
saw
all of
Sin
these
attack
characters are
Xanarkin.
super young.
You're saying that happened 1,000 years ago?
So it's
No
understandable
way.
as to why you would be annoyed by them. Just wait until the
You said-
laughing cutscene. Oh yeah, good lord.
You play blitzball?
Let's see. Riku's the youngest in this game. Riku's 15.
You know, you should go
Yuna
to
is
Luca.
16. Tidus is
Someone might know
17.
who you are, or you might find someone you recognize.
Waka's 23.
Ah,
Lulu's 24. I think Kamari's like 32, and Orin's like 36.
Orin's 36?
I think Orin's 36.
Oh, dude.
36 or 35.
okay. Leave it to me. I'll
If
get
I
you,
remember,
Luca.
if my lore
Promise.
is correct.
You'd rather stay here? Okay,
Yeah, I
I'll go
agree.
tell the others. Wait
Tidus has
here.
annoying qualities. He has good qualities too.
Oh.
I actually like
And
Tidus
one
as a
thing,
character compared to
Don't
most
tell anyone you're from
Final
Xanarkin,
Fantasy
okay?
protagonists.
Yevon says it's a holy place.
I mean,
You might
Tidus
upset
does
someone.
have good qualities when it comes to the speedrun. He does a buttload of damage.
Oh yeah. That's the reason why we like him. His stats are pretty good.
Yeah. It does help that he's one of the highest starting agility characters that you get.
My Xanarkin?
That's the reason why we use
Some
him
kind of
most.
holy
Also,
place?
it helps with his grid positioning
Yeah,
and where
right,
he's
I
at.
thought. Since when?
With the route that we take, it allows us to jump
Yevon?
from
Sin?
Tidus's
Luca?
starting
I
portion
thought
of the
Sin
grid
just took me to a faraway
directly
place
into the tail end
that I
of
could go
Orin's
back in a day
grid.
or two. But 1,000 years into the future?
And the tail end of Orin's grid has a lot of +4 strength nodes. So we're going to be utilizing quite a bit of those in the run. Alright, so here's the second instance of meeting Sin. I also find it funny that the Albeds just kind of come out and start rolling around on the ground. Dude, come on. Stand up. By the way, when he was saying Etonic, that means under us. Honestly, can anybody compete with X2 Riku? I don't know. Pain's pretty alright. You'll also see a lot of the times, the game likes to tell me, hey, you should probably save. But one of the cool things about PC, this is kind of one of the big reasons why PC speedruns for Final Fantasy X are probably the most beginner-friendly, even though it's the most unstable port. Just about every single screen transition that you get on the PC port autosaves. So if you make a mistake and you mess up a grid and you use an item that you needed, you can always just reload the save. And you'll always be able to finish a run. There's never not an opportunity for you to be able to finish a run. So right here is where we learn, or we meet Waka for the first time. We also learn about this weird version of water polo that people in Spira like to play. Something that always confused me about this is blitzball's played underwater, right? So why does everybody practice blitzball on land? Wouldn't that kind of defeat the purpose?
Plot holes.
Plot holes, exactly.
Maybe that's the reason why the Aurochs aren't the best in Spira.
One more
I
time.
mean, in 23 years,
Finally.
they haven't made it out of the first round.
One might say there's statistical impossibility.
I've never seen a team this bad.
Oh man. Game. Once you run it so many times, you can just quote it like the back of your hand.
Dude, I literally could...
Who you play for?
I
The
literally
Xanarkin
could.
apes.
We
Just
joke around.
about quote the entire game now.
We joke around how we
What
can
did
just
you
get
say again?
the whole FF10 community and just
I meant.
reenact
Forget
the whole game.
If you
I
do
got
want a really
too,
good treat though,
close to sin and
the
my head's
PS2
all
port was
foggy,
run.
like.
The PS2 Final Fantasy X was run at RPG
Since
Limit Break this
toxin
year.
got to ya, but you're
8
still alive.
amazing community members
Praise be to you.
all came together and did a relay race. And
All right, back
if
to
you
practice.
manage to get to the very end of the run,
I'm Walker.
there was a reenactment of the final scene
What? You hungry?
that is
Okay,
absolutely
back to the
glorious,
village.
and it
I'll get you
is
something.
100% worth it to go check out. If you don't get anything else out of that entire
I
run,
felt like I could trust
that
this
moment is
Waka,
probably like
so I just had to
the,
ask.
the shining moment of that entire run.
It's true Xanarkin was destroyed, right? 1,000 years ago? So it's just a big pile of rubble now, isn't it?
Long time ago, there were a whole lot of cities in Spira. Big cities with machina, machines to run them. People played all day and let the machina do the work. And then,
I guess a little bit of an update about the story.
Sin came.
For some reason, Sin doesn't like lazy
That
people.
was about a- if you ask me,
So, because of that, that's the reason why he goes around and kills everybody, because he's only killing the lazy people.
it's just said,
It was
You're not allowed to use
Waka
Machina
and
to make your
Riku.
life easier. You need to work.
but you from the Xanarkan Daves, that was a good one, huh? Hey, I'm not saying that team never existed, yeah?
Ooh, and now that I'm
But you
thinking
gotta
about
figure,
it, because I
team
threw that
living in
potion on
Luxury like that be
Riku,
pretty
I need to make
soft,
sure
eh?
that I talk to
I
Auron an extra
appreciated
time
the-
somewhere.
But at that time,
That's right.
Everything that
I'm
hap-
talking during like we.
maybe if I could find. For now,
Don't you normally
I
skip
just
that
live. Sure, it was hard not to think of home.
I do skip a lot of affection, normally.
So yeah, this game has a built-in affection counter, and that's what we're talking
Hey,
about.
it's
So
this way.
there's a cutscene about halfway through the game that we're trying to aim for, and that cutscene is based on the affection points that each character has, and we try to aim for a certain cutscene, and it saves about.
It's about a minute. It's about 60 seconds of a difference. We're trying to get a certain amount of... we're trying to make it so that Auron has the highest affection rating out of all the characters that we have. Up to a certain point. And Auron's cutscene is about 50 seconds long, where the next shortest person's is like a minute and 45 seconds. Also, this is Besaid Lagoon. Besaid Lagoon sucks. Ooh, that's a good encounter. Besaid Lagoon can only lose you time. Under normal circumstances, you want to see about 2 encounters before you get to the loading zone. And there's 3 different formations of enemies that you can get here. Either 2 enemies, 3 enemies, or 4 enemies. Obviously, the best ones to get are 2 enemies. But right now we are super early, and I've gotten 2 preemptives. I'm gonna just go ahead and kill these. I got preemptive, so I may as well. We're gonna go for consistency rather than speed. Obviously the 4 enemy encounters are the slowest, but and normally we run away from them. Because I preempted that one, let's go ahead and kill it. It saves a little bit of time, I guess. And plus that extra 4 AP is pretty nice. The loading zone is right here, and I didn't get a 3rd encounter, which is really, really nice. So I didn't lose too much time to that split.
You want me on your team, right?
Like I said, early game is really, really tough. It's so much luck involved with how your times will go.
a major
And Piranhas is just one of those big places where you can just lose so much time.
It'll be fun.
Gotta cultivate a close relationship with Dad. Yeah, it's pretty much the truth. Alright, so here's where we get to get introduced to Besaid Village. Also, for some reason, Waka seems to believe that one player is enough to carry his team to the finals. Even though they've never won a game in their entire lives. You know,
I wasn't too.
Tidus is their saving grace.
This is where I was born. I joined the RI 10 years. Well, so, but every time
10 years without.
my first match.
Tidus is the LeBron of blitzball.
Hey,
Man,
So, you wanna win
I guess that's about the best way to describe it.
So,
I don't care how we. If we give it our all.
no. When you play in a blitzball.
Victor.
Also, the fact that Waka's entire mindset was, I don't care if we win. I'm not thinking about winning. I just want to play good. And the fact that Tidus was like, no, we're gonna win. He was so shocked by that.
After surviving your run in,
It was just crazy. Crazy to me.
Who are they?
Luzu.
5,
What?
4 is 9, plus 8 is 17.
Hey, sorry.
Cool.
I'm doing a little bit of
In
math
return,
right now.
come turn-
Heading off to bed for the night. Good luck with the run.
About the Crusaders.
Night, Roger. Thanks for hanging out for as long as you could, man. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and enter Besaid Village now. We're going to learn a couple of things about some stuff.
Crusade Village.
They got any
This is one of
food
those
there?
kind
We'll
of,
get you something over there later.
what's the word?
Take a look around first.
This is another cutscene heavy spot. Early game in this run is quite a bit of cutscenes. Because the game's trying to teach you about different stories and how events have played out up to this point, so you know exactly what's going on.
Over here.
Huh? What's up?
You do remember the prayer, right?
I didn't know it in the first place, to tell the truth.
Man, that's like the basics of the basics. All right, I'll show you.
Besaid, I'm at
Go
6
ahead, you
already.
try.
Hey man, thanks for the good luck on the run. I'm glad you think it's one of the better games. Final Fantasy X is probably my favorite casual game of all time.
Okay, now go present yourself to the
But
temple summoner.
Any blitzball
Unfortunately,
player would know that prayer.
because
It
I've
was the
started
blitzball
speedrunning
sign
it,
for
I've
victory.
pretty much ruined any casual play of this game that I could ever have ever again.
Yeah, that's like the story with all speedruns. As soon as you start speedrunning it, you can't really go back to playing it casually.
Alright, so right here we're just gonna run into the temple. Waka told us that we should go meet the temple summoner. So run in here, watch another small cutscene, move around a little bit more, watch another small cutscene. Like I said, we're just learning about the major differences that Tidus is trying to go through right now between what he's used to in Xanarkand versus now what he's in when it comes to
was them
Spira.
standing in that place.
He's taken basically such a giant, even though it seems like it's a big leap into the past in like technology wise. It's
I
just
began
such a
to realize
different
how
world
different
to
this
him.
world was from my own.
He has no idea what's going on. He's just not used to it, and he's trying to absorb all of this stuff in at the same time. And you know, anybody who was in his situation, I can understand why he would be the way he is.
Ten years have passed since Lord Braska became High Summoner. And finally, we receive a statue for our temple.
Oh,
Yeah, this
what's
is where
a
we learn
high
about
summoner?
Lord Braska, who was the last person who brought the calm
I got too
to
close to
Spira.
Sin's toxin.
And the calm is just a period of peace, where Sin doesn't attack Spira, and people can go to sleep without any
It
worries.
was funny hearing myself make the same excuse over and over. Funny and a little sad.
The summoners are practitioners of a sacred art, sworn to protect the people of Yevon. Only a chosen few become summoners, who call forth entities of great power, the Aeons. The Aeons hear our prayers and come down to us. They are the blessing of Yevon.
So what he meant
On the theory that guys from FF7
was that we
Spira
should
from
respect
this
some
game
kind of
in the
great
future.
men or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that. I
there's a
figured.
fan theory that in FF10-2 there's a NPC who references Shinra, right? The Shinra Corporation? And so people think that FF10 is like the... Is it the past of FF7 or is
Sorry,
it the
man.
future of FF7? Can't remember.
You could at least...
So I heard we're gonna play some Drown Ball.
Cannon. But
4 men enter, no man leaves.
No one leaves.
I've actually never heard of this whole Gaia with Final Fantasy VII fan thing.
Perhaps you could.
Really?
I've never,
Oh
I've
man,
never
it
actually
was-
heard that.
It was pretty huge because I think one of the guys like drops a line that references FF7, and so people were like, "Oh man, does that mean Ken's connected to
But he
7?"
might.
I mean, there's a lot of cross references between all the different Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, but it was like this reference was like very specific to 7. I forgot what it was though. I think it was something with materia, or like energy or something. Or was it a live stream? Nah.
Well, I mean, Final Fantasy X-2 is nothing more than fan service anyway, so why not add more?
That's true. Alright, so Keanu here's going up to the first cloister trials, which is a
Is something
small little
Someone
puzzle
has-
dungeon that we have to
Well,
do to
there's a room in there called
acquire
the
the
cloister.
next Aeon.
If the prayer is heard,
Technically, I'm not supposed to go
so
in
someone
there,
is in there.
because I'm not a guardian.
Is it particular?
some
Why don't you go in?
there's already guardians.
But you know,
Hey, but
we're
what if something
rebels.
happens?
We don't
what
care.
If the summoner dies?
A precept!
Since the Shinra tend to go on to make the Shinra Corp in FF7. Yeah, that's what it was.
Maybe.
That could be a possibility. Alright, so yeah, just like Steve was saying, this is one of those. This is the first instances of the puzzles that the game forces you to do. Besades is pretty simple. It's pretty straightforward. It's more of a tutorial. Like I said, a lot of the stuff in the beginning of the game is just a lot of tutorials to try and get you up to speed as to how the game plays. So it teaches you all the different things that you need to know in order to get through Cloister of Trials. Something cool about Cloister of Trials as well, each cloister has a hidden item hanging out in it. In older routes, we would get a couple of those items throughout, but we don't do that anymore. The only item that we get is the ones that are forced, and that would be in Bavel. So the idea here is just we're going to run through this as quickly as possible. Again, it's just the game trying to tell us, hey look, this is how you get through cloisters. This is a really easy one to get your feet wet, so you know what you're doing. And then they ramp up in difficulty slightly as we progress.
Yeah, the Cloister Trials, personally, is a nice break from all the
What's gotten into you?
grinding and then random encounters.
Hey, it's okay. Only summoners,
I always tell
apprentice
people
summoners, and
who
the
want to run this
guardians can
game that
enter
if
here.
they want to be really
It's a
good at
tradition,
it, the
very
first thing you
important.
should do is probably master these cloisters. 'Cause you
So
can
what
save a
about
lot
you?
of time once you master them.
Me?
100%
I'm a
true.
guardian.
Just knowing the different
guardian?
routes and how to manage, how to make your way through each one of them will mean such a big difference when it comes to,
Summoners go
you
on a
know,
pilgrimage to pray
what
at
your
every temple
times
in
are.
Spira. Guardians protect them.
Just like Bevel Trials, for example, you make one mistake in Bevel
Guardians in there
Trials,
now.
you lose in
One
25
of them's got a
seconds.
short fuse.
And
who knows what the other's thinking?
it's to the point now, especially for
How do we
me,
come this far?
Cloisters won't ever
Might as well
gain me
go all
or
the
lose
way.
me any time anymore, or will never gain me any time anymore. It's all, can you execute, and if you can execute, are you going to make any mistakes while you're executing,
What are you doing here?
Yeah,
and
but
not
once you
lose
push-
the time.
No.
Once you're pushed into top times, it
See, I
just becomes a how fast can I do this, and how many little mistakes can I make?
Is
But yeah, it's like Steve was saying, it's one of the easier runs to learn. It's super beginner friendly. The community has compiled some of the best notes in speedrunning, at least in my opinion. They're super
Oh, yeah.
beginner friendly. As long as you can read and follow along, you're pretty much guaranteed to get through a run. It may take you a long time, but it's just super beginner friendly. There's not a lot of difficulty behind it. But the big difference behind it is once you start trying to push times down to sub 9:10, it's like sub 9 hours and 10 minutes. You're looking for good luck, good to average luck. And so far, like right now, first hour of the game has been sub average luck in my opinion. Some good things, some bad things, but it's so hard to grind for average luck. It's amazing at how hard it is to grind for average luck in this game.
Oh yeah, so we met Yuna here. Yuna is as we found out, the daughter of Lord Braska,
Man,
the
was-
previous summoner who brought the
And here I was
Eternal
thinking-
Calm. Not Eternal Calm, but the regular Calm. To Spira. So a lot of the citizens of Spira have high hopes for Yuna, because she's just because she's the daughter of the
Hey,
previous
over here.
summoner, high summoner. I mean,
Yeah, so this is the first opportunity to get
what?
you get to meet Lulu and
Wait till you see
Kimari.
this.
I can't
that's
see
true.
anything.
We also get to meet Lulu and Kamari.
Ready?
Okay.
One thing I like about FF10 is that we get to use every character at some point in the run. A lot of other Final Fantasies, you kind of have your main team not main team right off the bat, but you kind of don't have to worry about a lot of the characters. But here, I think every character gets his own share in the limelight.
Some characters did have a slightly increased role, whereas others were what you would call your main party. Some characters are now in a very reduced role. One of those characters, unfortunately for all you Lulu fans, Lulu doesn't get used too often in this route anymore, or at least in the route that I'm taking. There's two main routes that are the competitive routes on the leaderboards right now. We're having a very difficult time figuring out which route is actually faster, because there's so many things
I had never seen anything
in the
like it
game
my
that
life.
can lose or save
Sure,
you
It
time.
was a little scary.
So
still,
to actually figure out
I
which
could feel a strange kind of
route is the
gentleness
fastest
coming
is
from it.
very difficult to do. But right now the route that I'm taking is the same route that is It's modeled
remember,
basically after the route that is
night,
done on
we
PS2.
talked for the first time.
On PS2, it is
I didn't know
guaranteed
it
to be the
then,
faster route because it's
but
a lot
after
of
that night,
lag mitigation
everything
stuff
changed.
and
For
other
everyone.
things that we do, skip
For
encounters
me.
and such.
Yeah, so the routes are the two routes are called the spare change route and the bribe route.
Let me introduce this guy here.
And
Wants in.
Keanu will be doing the spare change route in this run. So that means
These memories
Lulu
are
will get
little
a reduced roll in this route. In the bribe
Come on,
route, Lulu has a little bit more action. But it is as he said, the spare change route is used a lot more on PlayStation 2 runs because PlayStation 2 has a lot
Our
of
new goal
inherent
to
animation
win every
lag.
match. To bring the crystal.
So the frame
That's all
rate
we
will
need
just slow down, and so a lot of the battles are set up so that you can skip a lot of the animation lag. But HD remaster doesn't have that problem, which is why you can do either bribe or spare change route.
Yeah, currently right now on the leaderboards, I'm in second place, and current world record holder is 14 seconds faster than me, and we both use completely different routes.
It was really
So that's how
my fault
comparable.
to begin with.
Um,
I'm Yuna.
that's how comparable the
Thank
two
you so
routes
much
are.
for your help earlier.
Having the two
sorry about
runs
that.
having two runs over 9 hours long within 14 seconds of each other.
Kinda overreacted.
You can
Oh,
pick and
no.
choose whichever route
was
you feel more comfortable with.
overconfident.
And I mainly use the spare change route because I also run the PS2 port. So being able to not have to transition between two different
Do you think I can become
two
high
different
someday?
strategies as I jump between ports is a little bit of a convenience for me.
Yeah, it's pretty inconvenient for me because I always change routes depending on what platform I play. There's a guide
So,
for FF10 that we talked about
tomorrow then.
earlier, and that guide focuses on the bribe route,
We're going on the
Mhm.
same
which I
boat,
think is much
aren't we?
more beginner friendly.
Oh, really?
I like bribe route because it's very
We
consistent
can
as well.
talk more.
Huh.
So right here is your first kind of
You
important
can tell me
decision.
all about Xanarkand.
Waka asks you if you think Yuna's cute,
She's cute, yeah.
and I purposely say that I don't think she's very cute. She's not my type. It saves about 6 seconds total
That's not
because it skips the part where Tita says, "Hey, no promises there, big guy." So that's a little bit of an optimization. Also, whenever you pick whenever you say like, "Yeah, I think she's cute," it gives Yuna +6 affection. So, like I said, we wanna keep certain characters' affection ratings low as possible, while boosting up others. And there's a lot of different things in the game that affects affection rating between your characters.
Where's that boat?
Everyone
Whenever
will
you're
find
on a
us
screen
if it doesn't
and the
come soon.
NPCs are your party members and they're hanging out and you talk to them and they have dialogue, the very first character that you
Would
speak
you
to
take me to Xanarkand?
gets a couple of affection points. And
You said you'd go with
other
me.
things that will gain you affection obviously is if Tidus throws healing items or uses healing spells on characters. Those will boost your affection rating, and adversely if Tidus was to attack a character, that drops a little bit of affection. So the route that I take, like I said, I'm trying to boost Orin's affection as much as possible because his cutscene is substantially shorter. And right now I'm 1 behind. It's every time you throw a potion on Riku, it gives her 2 affection points. So I hate you. I am 2 affection.
He's dead.
Too affection too much right now.
But yeah, that can be easily solved though. So we're gonna just talk to Orn a little bit more than we normally would
He does
for
look like Chapu.
for the run.
I was surprised too.
But
First
it's
time
easily
I saw
remedied.
him.
But we are
But no
trying to
matter what
avoid
he looks like, he
a
isn't
Riku
Chapu.
cutscene later down the road.
You shouldn't have brought him here in the first place.
Yeah, but you needed a
Yeah,
help.
it's
Excuses again?
we'll have to go out of our way. I'll have to go out of my way a slight bit. Me having to throw that potion on Riku kind of loses me probably in the realm of about 8 seconds. Because where I'm going to end up talking to him is a little bit out of the way, but it's probably going to be the shortest. Or not the shortest, but the fastest
Scary.
place for me to talk to him again.
So,
And that'll be in
who's
Thunder
Chapu?
Plains.
My little brother.
Oh, you mean the shop?
Chapu.
Mm-hmm.
Looked like you.
I talked to him in the shop.
He's dead?
I'll talk to him there, and then I will also talk to him, just to be safe. I will also talk to him in the, right before Farplane. Normally those are two that I'd skip.
Oh, so that's why.
I became a guardian to fight sin.
So we learn about
Revenge,
Waka's
then?
younger brother
That
who
was the
passed away,
idea.
and the reason why he
I'm more worried
became a
about a
guardian.
stupid game now than avenging my brother.
And
Well,
we kind of get an
After the
inkling
next
of
tournament,
idea
I'll be
why
a guardian
he's so
full time.
close to Tidus right off the
I know it
bat.
kind of looks like I'm
because,
using you.
He looks very similar
But
to
I'm
his
not.
younger brother who passed, so kind of
Don't
has this
worry.
connection with him
I mean,
already.
I owe you a lot. You really...
They touched
help
up
me
texturing
out, you
quite a bit
know?
of this. That's right. In
What
the
I
HD
mean is-
remaster, Square Enix
Thanks,
updated the
Waka.
character models for the main characters, so Tidus and his
Stop.
party
You're
members, I think
embarrassing me.
Seymour as well,
Mm-hmm.
have updated textures for the PS3 release, and that stays consistent throughout all the various re-releases throughout the years, even up to the current Switch and Xbox version.
It's actually funny. The PC is one of the only ports where you can change your texture quality.
Yeah.
Right now I'm running on medium texture quality just to try and save my computer a little bit of work. But if you were to run this on 1080p,
Well,
if your rig can handle it on high quality, a lot of everything just looks really, really good in this
We're taking
game.
the same boat as you.
Some people don't like
The
some of the new
Instead,
character models because they kind of screwed with some characters' faces.
This is our
One of the chief complaints that a lot of people have is Waka's face. They're not too big of a fan of Waka's face,
You really
but I don't,
they're not
I
really
don't think it's too
this
bad.
isn't a
I guess
Yeah, I agree. I actually like the HD remodels, but Waka took
Okay.
me a little bit to get used to.
So once I regain control, I'm gonna do a slight bit of backtracking. A lot of people didn't realize that you have access to probably one of the strongest moves in the game really, really early in it. So if you turn around and run right back into Besaid Village, you can do a couple of talking to a few NPCs. We're gonna go into the item shop here and we're gonna talk to this lady. And she tells us that her dog dug up something funny and she wonders what it is. So we're gonna go find that dog. Luckily for us, this dog is hanging out in this tent right here. And once we talk to him, we get something mangled and slobbery, and that is Valefor's Energy Blast. Energy Blast is Valefor's secret overdrive, and it is very powerful. We're going to be using that quite a bit in the early stages of the run to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, no one knows why this dog has this overdrive.
Not a clue.
But,
This is
it's
these are tutorials. Again, it's just teaching you what different characters are good at doing. It's basically telling you that Tidus has a high amount of agility so he can keep up with fast enemies. Waka with his ball has high accuracy so he can hit things that are normally hard to hit. Things such as that. Dang, I'm gonna be 1 AP short of early strength. That's unfortunate. And then this fight teaches us about magic and all that stuff.
you get some cool dialogue options if you use the wrong spell,
told you.
but
You can't beat them down.
just use the right one because it's
Let's
faster,
have our
of course.
It also, because this is a water fiend, it also, because of how cursor memory works,
spells of
it
ice
sets us
and
up for
ice
later in
fiends
the
are
run.
I get fire and ice.
lightning and water are this one here is
Yeah, you'll get to see a nice example of why we put the memory to cursor in a few encounters later. So coming up next now is the Kamari boss battle. And because we didn't get early strength is that we're allowed to grid early, do our grid early, and Titus can have an extra strength stat, which allows him to not worry about dying during that encounter. But we can actually game over here. So Keeanolookalike here is gonna count damage, and if he doesn't make a certain damage threshold, he'll have to throw a safety potion.
Let's get going.
We're gonna.
Kamari has 725 hit points, and I have basically 6 attacks. If I can't kill him in 6 attacks, I die, unless I potion. So I need to do an average of 125 damage per 6 hits, and Tidus's damage rolls can go anywhere between 117 damage to 134 damage. So I will be basically spitting off a few random numbers, and with my attacks. Crits are going to be really nice. So right now I'm +7. I'm +8.
If Keanu dodges twice or Tidus gets 1 crit, we don't have to worry about throwing a safety potion.
I am only +1 now. I am -4. I am +2. I'm not going to take the chance. I'm going to go ahead and heal. Yep, I would have been fine. Oh well.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate. You always... We'll just call it marathon safety, but
I don't want to die.
yeah.
It was a good start too. 134 off, 132 off the bat is a really good roll, but then that 118 really didn't help because it basically negated it.
Yeah, you want to average
Sometimes
about
we don't
125
understand
per
him
hit
either.
For you to not be
Kamari
able to
doesn't
safety
talk
potion.
much anyway. But
Alright, so right here, Tidus gains enough AP in order to reach sphere level 3. So we're going to do our first grid here in a little bit, but we have to do a couple of other things in the menu, so we're going to do this kind of optimally. All the encounters here are forced. There's no randomness to it. This is a tutorial that teaches us how to switch party members in and out of the party. Final Fantasy X was the first of its kind that allowed you to gain access to all of your characters at all times. So being able to swap party members in and out was really, really convenient in this. So the game forces us to summon Valefor here to fight this Garuda, and it's a good opportunity for us to charge Valefor's overdrive for the first time. So to save attack animations and to make sure that we get enough attacks in to get overdrive, we're going to sit here and spam fire. Fire is the fastest attack animation and deals the most damage that Valefor can do at this stage. We also want to see Garuda spamming sonic booms or not missing attacks on Valefor. Whenever Valefor dodges an attack, he has a really, really slow dodge animation. So we want to try to avoid that as much as possible. So every time he hits or uses sonic boom, it's beneficial to us. So this is the last turn, and this is the death blow. Okay. Alright.
Yeah, Valefor's overdrive is super important. That's why we have to always go back to get it. Otherwise, we can't really finish the run. That's like pretty much a dead run if you forget that overdrive.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so here's where we're going to do that menu. We're going to open up the sphere grid. We're going to get the strength +1. We're also going to learn cheer. And then we're going to move Wakka out of the party. Moving Wakka out of the party is really important. Under normal circumstances in casual play, this Garuda is where you learn how to use Wakka's dark attack. But because Wakka's not in the party, we can just run away from it. Unfortunately, Yuna decided to stay.
So yeah, escapes have about a 25% chance of failure, I believe, so... And you'd be surprised on how many times you can get a failed escape in a row, like right here.
That's 3. There we go. And the unfortunate part about manually escaping like that is the animations are super long. It's like the characters forget how to walk for a second. And It's just an unfortunate time loss.
So this encounter is a really good example of how memory cursor works. So because Lulu's on Thunder already, he can just prep Thunder right off the bat.
Mashy mash mash. Alright, so right now we're leaving Besaid with 3 speed spheres. It's kind of a low count. Like I said, I need 13 of them or 13 more of them before the end of the run. And Keeanolookalike Woods is the next place where I can get a whole lot of them. So we're leaving Besaid for the first time. Yuna's never done it before. We're gonna jump on this boat. Also, one of the cool things about this is actually all ports. You can, for some reason, maintain control of Tidus during some of these cutscenes. So we're just gonna, you know, we're coming after Yuna here. Also, that guy is crying for some reason. We don't understand why.
Goodbye.
Yeah, you can just walk in front of Uni here. A lot of people don't know that you can do that. When I was doing a run, I always do that, and sometimes my viewers are surprised.
There's a couple of different places where you can do such things.
Oh baby, my favorite scene.
This is Steve's favorite scene. Why, I don't know, but
At this point.
alright, Scav. Like I said, thanks again for let me do this run for you, and get some rest, and I'll see you in a couple hours.
Yeah, man, we got the fort, man. Get a good night's sleep.
We will hold the fort down, that's right. Also, Tidus is a bit of a perv here. He did this completely on purpose.
And Lulu knows it too.
Lulu knows it. She's like, excuse you. Night, Bon.
Word is, I heard you don't.
Lord,
So that's where you learn that Yuna and Braska are related somehow.
She's the daughter of High Son Lord Braska. Yuna's the heir.
But we're skipping all of this dialogue, at least as much of it as we can.
it's time.
Huh?
Walker's,
Huh?
Alright, so this is one of the first big breaks in the run. Normally I'll get up and I'll stretch and walk around, use the restroom, get some water or something like that, but I'm actually really good right now.
Oh, this scene, man.
I have no idea why you get so happy with this scene.
I don't know why either. I just love it so much.
the wind. It's nice.
Yeah, this scene is where we kind of learned that Tidus' father, Jet, also came to Spira.
Spoiler alert.
Oh man. Sorry guys. Didn't realize this was a non-spoiler playthrough.
I'm trying to remember
about
what
player,
happened
aren't
during
you?
my PB,
From
because I'm only
Xanadu,
30
right?
seconds behind right now, and
You
that's
hear that from Waka?
actually not a bad pace.
Huh.
Like I said, this
Waka.
this
Waka doesn't
run
believe me at all.
this run that I'm comparing against was like by far the best run that I've ever, not only just time-wise, but like one of the best luck runs that I've had in a long time.
There is a great
So,
stadium.
all lit up.
the
the
likelihood
yellow
of me PBing
Great
is
football tournaments are
very
held
low,
the
especially with
stands
what
are
I've already
always
had to deal
full.
with early
How
game.
do you know that?
But
A man named Jack told me. He was my father's guardian.
it's still nice. It's still nice to run against. It's amazing to me at how far we as the community have been able to push this game.
My father.
Just with new strats and just
His
people
name
getting
is
better
Jack.
and better at the game.
Amazing.
Not this PB, but the last real PB that I got
Like this must be the blessing of Yevon.
used to be the former world record at one point. And at the time
Sounds like him, but
when
can't be
that
him.
run was when that run happened, it was 5 seconds faster than world record. And
Wow,
we
man.
thought that
He
913
died.
was like
10
the end
years
all.
ago.
Like
Off
we
the
thought
coast of
913 was
Xanadu.
going to be one of the best times that you could possibly get.
Oh, camper
I'm
with the rating of with the
He
raid.
went out to sea for
Oh,
trade
baby.
one day.
How was
Never
the
came back.
how was the run camps?
It didn't finish.
And no one's seen him since then.
Salt
So-
blocks.
Why, that's the day
So the next
that
boss
Jack
fight.
came to Spira. It's true, I first met Jack
Camper
10
is
years
also
and
a
3 months
FF10.
ago. I remember that was the day.
Camper's a good friend of
my
ours.
father
He's been running Nemesis percent all day today, and he's tired, so he's probably gonna go straight to sleep. And he might be in a little bit later, to help with some commentary in a few hours. We'll see.
He's not gonna commentate now. Right after a 17-hour run.
Are you not?
Yeah, unfortunately, he was in Nemesis percent, and it died right at the very end, which is really unfortunate.
So Nemesis percent is a 17-hour category.
Nemesis percent is basically Final Fantasy's 10 version of 100.
Yeah, it's the closest thing you get to Hundo. Keeanu's gonna skip some FMVs here.
Yo, Jimbo, you failed us. I was watching.
What run I always stream Apex? Oh, sorry. Camper's a great Apex streamer.
I hit start too early,
What do you think you're doing?
so I got confused as to what happened.
Go Jimbo, I feel shame. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Our families are in.
A lot of Nemesis percent relies on Jimbo's ability to use his best overdrive. Apex feels bad, man. Uh-oh, we've been exposed, Keanu. We don't actually run play, we just play Apex all day.
So this boss fight is dependent a little bit on turn order. What I'm going to be doing is very specific in terms of turns. Basically what I want to see is Tidus going before the Sinfin moves a second time. So I'm doing all of this stuff to deal some damage to the Fin, to make sure that I can kill it whenever they make sure I kill it in the turn that I need to. Bad turn order loses about 12 seconds. And I got bad turn order, and I also messed up inputs. Yeah, I'll pull you over in just a second, Camper. Hang on.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is a little bit Monka S here. I'm praying that I get a good damage roll because I'm 80 damage short now. So this is Energy Blast. Energy Blast does quite a bit of damage. I need this to hit for 1480 or better. Otherwise, we're in for some fun.
You gotta get an extra attack now?
That's unfortunate. I probably should have done an extra attack, but I messed up my inputs. I didn't blast the boat, but I didn't do enough damage. So that's really unfortunate, actually.
How much How important is the overkill in here?
It's important enough that I have to pay attention to how many kills I get in Keeanolookalike now.
We'll probably have to kill some like elementals here.
Probably.
Please.
That's really unfortunate. I don't know why my brain said hit up whenever I was doing that input, but I did.
So, because we flee a lot of the encounters here, we don't grind very much here, except for some 2 special upcoming segments. So a lot of our experience comes from getting overkills in these boss battles, and getting an overkill doubles the amount of experience you get for that battle.
Except on bosses. Bosses only give 1.5.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, didn't know that.
So that's 9. This number is at 15.
Hey, don't worry about it, Cams. Get some rest.
Under normal circumstances, Shiva, I would reset, but that's not going to happen.
So yeah, worst case scenario, we'll just have to grind a little bit.
I think I'm at 15. No, I had 6, 6, 5, and then 6 more. So
But,
that's 21.
Yeah, the chance to PB is
pretty much gone.
Now. Yeah.
Probably it's hour and a half in. It's already a dead run.
So
yeah, I lost 5 AP from that, so it's 1 extra kill and a lot of extra time. Alright, so here we're going to do a couple of things to make sure that I can do enough damage to kill this. We're going to cheer with Tidus a couple of times. Cheer gives +1 strength and +1 defense to both characters, and that was supposed to be Dark Attack. I'm playing really bad right now. It's because I'm talking.
let me commentate on the boss fights. So yeah, as Keanu said, we're going to cheer to increase our attack here. And Keanu needs a Dark Attack because the way this boss works... Oh, not punished. The way this boss works is that once you get attacked, it heals himself, depending on how much damage it does to you. So we need that Dark Attack is very important because we want to get the overkill here. So we want to get Coolies to a certain HP threshold before we overdrive.
Shiva, it's only a reset for me because of my time.
Yeah, Shiva. So he was running against his own time, which is 2nd place on the board. So this is not a very accurate measurement of how the run really is going to be. Like, so nice. We got the overkill here.
I need to make sure that I don't mash this too fast because I need to see what the AP count is.
I'll keep it out.
$36.
Oh, in Iceland.
When Sin attacks it, I kept hoping it would work in reverse too.
So there's a few good RNG would be depending on getting good weapons, right?
Sin.
So in this boss fight, it can drop potentially drop an ice weapon, and we were looking for an ice weapon for Tidus, and that helps a lot in the grinding situation coming up.
I was in a form.
But the first one runs always the best because all
This was my.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, see. What Keanu's doing, he's just setting up his run for better gold splits.
Alright, so I still need 6 kills, so that really didn't matter. That 5 AP would have just made it so that I only needed 5. So I just need 6 now.
PC is definitely the most popular platform to run, mainly because it's easy to get a hold of the PC version, and it's arguably the most fair platform to run because the way we time the
If
run.
there is no other summoner,
Thanks, BT.
Yeah, because of the programs that we have added in with Live Split,
please.
load times are not counted as your final time anymore. This was implemented about 1.5 years ago. It just kind of makes the playing field as level as possible. If that wasn't a true statement, like if we were still doing time with loads, like RTA timing, our current world record holder wouldn't even have a chance at holding world record.
Yeah, his PC's not the best. Oh, actually, this is very important coming up here.
I got a little bit of time to talk about it, but yeah. The current world record holder Matiyama has an older PC, so it's his time without loads is like 10 full minutes between, or that's like a 10-minute difference between time with and time without. Whereas on mine, there's only about a 7.5 minute difference between time with and time without. So if that was the case, you know, some people wouldn't even have a chance, but because the load remover is implemented, it's a level playing field for all. It all comes down to how lucky can you get in the run and how good you are at the game. I feel like that's really, really good for beginner speedruns.
And in time,
You should buy a new one. So coming up here is the next instance of storage skip that we're going to do here. This is a this is considered the most difficult version wanted yet because it's a 2-frame window. So Keon here is going to try to get it. If you look at the
Yeah, you're not going to really notice too much unless you're looking at the bottom right corner of the screen. You'll see the skip prompt disappear and then reappear very, very quickly. Like that. It didn't look like much. Unless you've seen it a whole bunch of times, you really don't know what you're looking at. But basically what I did is whenever an FMV starts, if you hit start, the game says, hey, player wants to bring up the skip prompt. So a flag gets set that the skip prompt gets put up on. And then if you hit the square button, in my case, since I'm using a PS4 controller, the game says, okay, use said flag. Skip the FMV. Well, in some instances, there are certain FMVs that you've told the game to skip me, but it's still playing in the background.
She defeats sin.
So if you remember earlier in the run, I said, whenever you skip, or whenever you bring up the flag, the game developers never intended for you to not use that flag.
I hope.
Well, because the FMV is slightly still playing, in this instance, there's 2 extra frames that it plays for. I can bring that flag back after I've used it. So the game says, hey, he skipped it. But then he also said bring it back. So because it's back, it's stored. Because there's never not an instance of, at the end of the FMV, it gets rid of that flag. So that flag is basically in storage and is going to be taken in with me to Luca, where I skip the first cutscene. Also, always aspire to be this kid. This kid is very important.
Yeah, he swam all the way to Besaid, right? It's just see Yuna again?
He's gonna be a blitzball when he grows up. Always aspire to become a blitzball.
So, the next segment here is Keeanolookalike Woods. And Keeanolookalike Woods is a very important segment because, as I said earlier, we don't grind for a lot of experience in this game, save for a few sections, and one of those sections is here. So we're gonna count how many kills we get in Keeanolookalike. And a kill is when you defeat an enemy, and if you get an overkill, it counts as 2.
Something wrong?
So right now, by my math, I need 50 more AP to reach my threshold. The threshold being that directly after I kill a Blitzerator in Luca, I need to be at total sphere level 10 on Tidus. That allows me to gain access to the haste ability, and that is very, very important for the end of Luca. So I need 50 AP at 9 AP per kill in Keeanolookalike. That means I'm looking at about 6 kills. And there's only certain enemies that I'm going to be killing.
I want
What I'm
to
looking
ask you
for are
to be
Dynox,
my guardian.
Dinoix.
You
I
know
call them
what?
lizards. Lizards
Yeah,
and
lizard
bees.
Maybe a
Yeah.
blitzball?
Lizards and bees are the easiest to kill.
Not a guardian,
Tidus can
then.
kill the lizards
I just
relatively
want him
easy.
nearby.
Waka can kill the bees as well.
What?
It's
Waka
just
also
that-
has a chance to overkill
well-
them because of a weapon that I'm about to pick up.
We're all going to the temple anyway. Can't this
The
wait
first
till later?
encounter, though, of Keeanolookalike Woods is a forced encounter. It's one of those things
I'm
where it
sorry.
teaches you how to
There's
use
nothing to be sorry
one of
about.
Kamari's abilities, which is Lancet,
I'm just not really sure what's going on.
and about how Ronsos can learn
My
enemy
apologies.
skills from using Lancet. And there's actually a couple of the enemy skills that I can learn with Kamari that are very important to the run. Seed Cannon gets used a little bit. That's the first one that we learn.
Kimari.
What?
Normally, it's a spot
So
where the
this
Ronso
encounter is
uses.
pretty important. Because not only will we see cannon, but we're also going to recharge Valfor's overdrive so we can use it on the next boss.
I'm also gonna switch up party member here, party order here a little bit, so that I don't have to worry about it later. So we're gonna summon Valefor because of the shortened overdrives, or because of the shortened animations. You know, he comes in right instantly. But luckily for us, Valefor has enough hit points that if we were to use the boost skill twice, he gets a full charge regardless. I would prefer to see it hit twice because the dodge animations are super slow, like I said. But either way, it doesn't matter. If it misses twice, it means I don't have to touch the save sphere later. But Valefor has full overdrive now, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. Also, Tidus has 2 sphere levels now, so I'm going to do another small grid. This weapon here is called the Scout. It is an ability... It has the sensor ability. It also has Ice Strike, and that's a weapon for Waka.
So the lizard and bees are really weak to ice element. So having he scouts there. So having an ice strike weapon really helps the game. And this is a pretty decent encounter here, the lizard, bee, and elemental.
You want to see those overkills. It takes 165 damage in order to overkill a bee. Waka's lowest damage roll is a 159, whereas his highest is a 174. So you have a good chance of getting the overkills. There's a lot of times where you don't get them at all. But Keeanolookalike Woods is being nice to us so far. I'm already at 3 kills, which is really nice. Like I said, he can sometimes roll really low with the 160s, but
Yeah, it's always kind of frustrating to see Waka not get an overkill on the bee.
The other big reason why we only kill the bees and the lizards, the bees and the lizards will drop speed spheres, and like I was saying earlier, speed spheres are super important to the run. Because I have 4 kills right now, that's plus 4 speed spheres. On top of the 3 that I already have, that means I'm at 7, which is quite nice. Generally speaking, I want to leave Keeanolookalike Woods at around 11. That's the best case scenario. I've left with way worse. And there's plenty of opportunities for me to continue to get them, but this is the safest and most in the way. Like, in route version of getting speed spheres.
Because you have to kill enemies for experience, so it's like knocking 2 birds with 1 stone.
So we're going to touch the save sphere here to get everybody back to full health. Basically just for Valefor. Valefor needs full health for this fight. I'm also going to take the safe strat and attack first turn. Turn order here is kind of important. Yuna and Tidus have the same agility rating, but Tidus should always outspeed, but there's a chance that Yuna will go first. If Yuna goes first, that's kind of bad. But
There's a backup for it.
there is a backup, yes. That extra little 51 damage doesn't seem like a lot. This boss has 3,000 hit points, but that 50 damage is actually going to save me a turn, hopefully, as long as this energy blast doesn't do crap damage. you want to see it damage around 1500, and that's really low. So that's unfortunate.
So you're gonna have to rely on high damage rolls for fire.
I need to bias 100. I need to bias 385 per hit, which is very unlikely. Veil 4 can hit for 360 to 400. So I need to hit for the high side at 385 a hit. It takes 4 fires normally to kill this boss, but because I rolled so low, well, that's a really high roll. There's a chance.
So there's this potentially could take 5 fires to beat.
That's really low. So I need 2 super high rolls here. That's right in the middle. Yeah, this is gonna take 5 fires, unfortunately. It's always like a lot of people casually are like, "Oh my gosh, Veil 4 is gonna die here," but the attacks that the boss does, Jano does, are set order, and you can't die in five turns. You always end up with at least 20 health left. I suppose if you were to get like the worst damage rolls possible, you could die, but it's just super unlikely.
Yeah, I've never had that happen before.
I've been running the game for over a year and a half, and I've never seen it happen.
You handle yourself.
So, fiends, they fall.
So come up here where you can see
That moment when I think that was when
best blitzball players in Spira.
Yeah, the Luca goers are number 1.
So,
just a few.
So here's some more story. We're learning that Waka is slowly starting to believe that Tidus may actually be from Xanarkand, because it's been
amazing.
I guess in the flow of the game, it's been like a week or so,
You make up one.
and Tidus still, you know, is under the influence of the Sin's toxin.
Sin crushed him. Your brother.
He's also, as Lulu's trying to point out, kind of grasping on hope that is a possibility that his brother might still be alive.
And there's no.
But Lulu is a realist here and just shoots down his hope.
His hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
Well,
Waka? Something had happened between well, whatever it was
Yeah, and Tidus is like, I don't want any part of this.
Not my place.
Yeah. Smart move.
Alright, so this is Keeanolookalike Temple. This is the second instance of Cloister of Trials. This one's is a little bit more difficult than Besaid, but not too much more. It's more input heavy, to make sure you don't like accidentally try to put a sphere where it's not supposed to go. But these are the Luca goers, aka the Luca trollers.
you here to pray for victory too?
When we get to Luca, we'll explain more about these guys if you don't already know.
The Luca goers always win.
Because the Luca goers always win.
And why you here?
Oh,
We've been praying for some competition this year.
My heart.
So what's your
I've
goal
lost
this
many a
time?
run
You gonna
to that
do
part
your
that
best
part of the
again?
game.
We'll talk
Too
about
bad
more
your
once we get to
best
that
isn't
part.
good enough. Why even bother showing up?
This time we play to win.
Ooh, play away. Just remember, even kids can play, boys.
See you in the finals.
Even
As you can
kids
tell.
play, boys.
We'll beat them.
As you can tell,
have to.
I play this game too much.
You know that team?
Putting people down. They're as bad as my old man.
But Sir Jecht was a kind and gentle man.
Well, not
So
my
we're getting into
Jecht.
the cloister trials
Even
here.
10 years after he left.
Each
Just
trial
thinking
is
about my
based
old
off a
man got
different
me
element,
angry.
and
But maybe
this
that
is
was just
the
my way of
Ifrit
keeping
cloister
him.
trials.
Nah,
Or this is where we get
nah.
Ifrit. So Ifrit's a fire element. If you guys know your Final Fantasy, yeah.
He's the hell doggo.
Yeah. So the trials are going to be very fire themed here, and then we'll have an electric themed one and an ice themed one later.
Also, walk a dab. I always see. That's all I see. That's all I see whenever I see that part is just walk a dabbing. A summoner, are you?
My name is...
Yeah, here we get to meet more
So, your
upcoming
high-
summoners
Ma-
on their
and
own
all these-
pilgrimage.
As I recall,
Pilgrimage.
quality over...
Mhm.
I have need of only...
And this is Donna and
I
Bartello.
only have as many.
Bartello.
I
That's
trust
right.
them to have so many, even more.
Donna's
so,
kind of a
of
butthole.
course. So, lady,
You do what you...
She's one of those jealous types. She's jealous of Yuna's fame and fortune, and or not fame and fortune, but fame and
A guardian is so
how everybody looks at her differently because she's the daughter of
wondered,
Braska. Which, I mean, has its privileges, I guess. But here we're going to enter the Cloistria Trials. Well, we're kind of going to enter the Cloistria Trials. This is the elevator to the Cloistria Trials.
But first, the...
Hey, what?
You're not...
You're not a guardian. You can't come in here.
Oh, sure.
So I literally can't do anything here. Normally what I'll do is I'll just hold forward and run. But I can do stupid stuff like this. I can't leave. I can't do anything until the elevator comes back.
Yeah, the cutscene doesn't trigger until you try to get on the elevator once again. So we kind of just have to wait.
More waiting.
Then what?
Hey,
I'm not a guardian. So this part always kills me too, right?
Ah, let me go.
I'm not supposed to be in here as Titus.
Hey, what's the big idea?
He gets flung onto the elevator
Just
as a little game, right? But at no point in time does he actually have to enter the trial. He can just stand here and wait. But no, we're rebellious. And we're gonna go ahead and run into the Cloistria trial.
only guardian.
Guess it's too late now.
Well,
And so like I said, this is a little bit important. I don't want to, or input heavy. I don't want to accidentally double input something. Like this text box right here, you can't input it until the door catches fire or goes out. So if you're sitting there mashing, you'll end up putting the sphere back, and that's like just a big waste of time. So there's some instances where you can mash like this, and other times you can't.
Yeah, this cloister trial is just relatively easy. It doesn't, honestly, they're all pretty easy once you get the hang of it. I think the worst ones, well, we pretty much agree that the worst ones are the final two.
I hate Jose's. I don't mind
You don't
Bevel.
like Jose?
I hate Jose.
Oh man, dude. Josie's okay.
Also, for some strange reason, that pedestal has an active hitbox surrounding all sides of it. So I can grab the glyph sphere that's located on the front of the pedestal from the back of the pedestal, which is the only instance in the entire game that that's a thing. No clue why it's a thing, it just is. So that's the end of the Fire Temple cloister.
Yeah, as we said before, we don't get any of the secret items here. Every temple has a secret item you can get. We don't get those because we don't need them in the run.
it was done.
Yuna will be the...
The only one that we get,
She could
and most of the time it's by accident, is the one in Bevel. Because sometimes if you're not moving correctly, you run into the treasure chest, and if you run into the treasure chest, it automatically opens it for some reason.
Now.
Wait, you can skip that treasure chest?
Yes, you can skip that treasure chest.
I didn't know that. Oh my gosh.
You have to move you have to move a very certain way, but yes, you can skip that treasure chest.
I always go for a prayers because I thought you always had to
She
get
prays with all.
Nope, you can skip it.
Man, I'm top 10 too.
Oh, sugar.
There was something.
This
That
is the main
song
reason
we
why I
heard.
wanted to do this
It was proof
co-commentary,
that
so I could learn
Spear
from Keanu.
Maybe that's why. I tried to say something.
It's a good opportunity for a lot of newer runners to get a good bit of information about the run. So we're gonna name Ifrit here, and we're gonna do it really quick, and then we're gonna leave. Hey Gabby, what's going on, man?
Gabby. So we're heading out of Keeanolookalike Woods here, and we have to pick up one item on the way out. It's a luck spear in the chest in the north side of the woods, and that chest is very important because we need that item for a boss fight about halfway through the run. So you'd be surprised on how much setup we do for the later half of the run.
Yeah, that luck sphere is not going to
Thought
get
I had put my
used
feelings for
until
Xanarkin behind
Evray.
me.
So it's just going to chill in inventory and not ever get touched until I get to Evray.
Yeah.
But they were there,
Super
and they grew
important
inside
item.
me
If you
bigger
forget
and
this item, it's a
bigger,
dead run.
till I was just about ready
No, I
to
think
burst.
there's a backup and
I don't think there's a backup. You don't do enough damage.
no, I think you can get like another luck spear somewhere else.
And can I?
Are you okay?
Ooh,
Yeah, I think.
Geyer with
I
the
don't know.
218-man raid.
What
Hey,
Hello!
want
Welcome to
do?
SkavThon.
To scream real
Yeah,
loud.
we're doing a Final Fantasy X speedrun here. So it just started. We're in it for the long haul, so hope you guys enjoy.
Thanks for the raid. I hope you had a good stream. Scav is taking a nap right now.
So we're we're slumming it up here. So
I shouldn't take this encounter, but I'm taking this encounter.
No, yeah, it was a good idea to take an encounter. Because
I'll be right
gotta
back.
play it safe for the marathon.
Yeah, so that's 7 kills? Yes, that's 7. So I was at 5 on the way in. I think. No, I was at 4 on the way in, so that's 6. So there's the luck sphere. Super important to have.
So yeah, runners can opt to either get that chest on the way in or on the way out. But this is a good encounter.
Oh yeah!
Nice.
Oh, with 10 kills?
That was I don't know if it was 7 or if that was 6. I think it was only 4 in the way in. I can check my speed spheres.
Oh yeah, if you had 4 spear level 4, you that would have been 10. So
Oof.
9, I think.
I'm gonna go ahead and kill it just for the extra speed spheres.
Yeah. So we're definitely gonna get early haste.
Oh yeah!
Definitely getting early haste now.
Oh yeah, the crit, nice.
Alright.
Crits are always nice.
Too easy.
So yeah, we're definitely done now. We have way more kills than we need.
Yeah, we definitely made up the deficit from not overkilling that boss earlier.
I wasn't counting encounters either. I want to say that was 5. Yeah, that was 5. That was 5 encounters.
Yeah, you had 2 on the way in.
2 on the way in, 3 on the way out.
Yeah, so 5.
Off to
Well, Geyer, I'm glad that you decided to send your viewership here. This marathon is SkavThon. We're trying to raise some money for one of our very own in the speedrunning community, Scavenger216. He's if you type in !SkavThon, it'll bring up a whole bunch of stuff about the marathon and the reasons why we're doing this.
yeah, hope you guys enjoy the run. It's not every day we get to showcase Final Fantasy X, even though this year's been pretty great for Final Fantasy X when I think about it. It's been a couple marathons already.
RPG Limit Break. I think ESA as well.
Yeah, it was on the second stream of ESA, and then SkavThon. So this is the boat on the way to Luca. We do a few things here on this boat. Very important.
One of the main things that we need to do is we are introduced to the character Awaka for the first time. Awaka is a traveling merchant that likes to joke on our clothes and how he thinks we're ew. But we're gonna, even though he insults us and talks trash about us, about how we look and all that stuff, we're still gonna give him 1100 gil. Giving him 1100 gil allows us to get some discounts on some weapons that he sells a little bit later in the run. And we buy from Awaka 2 different times in the run, one at the very end of Mushroom Rock Road, and then one at the very end of Makalania Woods. He has 2 very strong items. Hang on.
So yeah, these weapons are very important in the run. If we don't give this discount, we can't afford those weapons, and because we leave from a lot of encounters, a lot of the gil we get are from sources like chests or items we can get to resell back.
What do you want?
So 1100 gives us a sweet spot to. We got the we have the route made to give us just enough gil to get these weapons.
So we're gonna have a little bit of a blast from the past, a little bit of a flashback here with this Blitzball, where Tidus is first. He's remembering how he first learned how to play Blitzball when he was a kid.
Are you gonna get jet shot?
Am I gonna get jack shot? I am not gonna get jack shot.
Oh, okay. So yeah, this flashback reminds us of his time with his dad, and this gives us an opportunity to learn the infamous Jet Shot Mark III, which is a very useful Blitzball skill. But in the speedrun, we don't get it because there's a preceding cutscene that happens after getting Jet Shot that's longer than missing Jet Shot. So most runners will skip Jet Shot. But it's a really good strat to do. That shot is learning the run like this. Because Jet Shot is a very useful skill.
Jack shot. If you successfully obtain Jack shot, the cutscene extends by about, I want to say it's like 55 seconds.
You're not the only one.
Yeah, I think it's like
no one else.
Because at the end of the dialogue between between Yuna and Tidus, when you win, Waka hits you with a Blitzball and tells you to show us that shot one more time. But if you miss it, then he just hits you with the Blitzball and then says, bedtime.
You can't do it, kid.
I know I can't PB jacked. Leave me alone. So we're gonna skip that. We don't need to see it. We don't need Jack shot. You also get to see Tidus like pouting a little bit, just throwing a little temper tantrum, stomping his foot in the ground.
So
Meh.
so we're heading to. After this, we're gonna fight Keeanolookalike, and Luca is where the Blitzball tournament is gonna be held at. And in the speedrun, Blitzball is very important because you can get a very good item, which is the Strength Spear, after winning Blitzball. And that item we use to boost Tidus's attack power, and it makes the run considerably faster, like 2 to 3 minutes faster. Right? I think this is what we.
Losing Blitzball, if you are consistent with the backup strats and you know them, losing Blitzball as fast as it would take to win Blitzball only loses you about 45 seconds.
Magnificent Jet Shot Mark
okay,
III.
but that's if you lose fast.
Yeah, if you lose fast. If you do all the setups to try and win and then lose,
Mark 1 or Mark
then
2,
it can get up to the 2-minute mark.
My
Yeah.
old man said the name Mark 3 was just something to
Another
hook
reason
the
why I
crowd.
want the strength spear is that we're allowed
He said
to
they'd
use
come back every night expecting to see
some
Mark
certain
1
strats that
and
make
Mark
the fights
2.
faster.
Man.
So, like, I believe if you lose Blitzball, you have to have Overdrive or Titus on every
so mad
to beat that fight, right?
Nope. Well, you can do it. You can do it that way, or you can
Do the cheer, right?
Yeah, you gotta give yourself an extra. You gotta give yourself an extra +2 strength on.
Is he alive, you think?
Titus later.
I don't know.
It costs you a couple of sphere levels.
But Sir Jecht was my father's
but
guardian.
you can do it. There's still a backup for it.
There's a bunch of backups,
So,
but
if
generally
anything
we want to
happened
win.
to him, I should think word would get around fast.
So I am gonna do everything in my power to win this game,
Would you do?
even if
you
it's
found
slow.
him?
I'm just gonna win, just because I'm not super comfortable with
Who
the backups.
knows? I thought he died 10 years ago.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know how to do backups on Spirit Change Route.
I'd probably
I know
just
how to do them in Bribe.
Unless
After
the
everything
goers
poor
are
mom
just
and me threw.
horrible.
And because he was
I'm
famous,
gonna do everything I
was
can to
always-
win.
Well, you should know, Yuna.
Yeah, not only you have to win
Your
Blitzball, but
father's
you have to
famous
win
too.
kind of efficiently.
Everyone in Spira knows him,
Because,
right?
you can waste a lot of time during
Ain't it
Blitzball.
tough?
It is hard to follow in his footsteps as a summoner.
Oh, also coming
Sure.
up is right
But
after this.
the honor of having a
cutscene
father
of,
like him
Yuna, we're gonna
surpasses
see
all that.
The
I
storage
think.
ship that we got way back
Well,
in the beginning of
there
Kilgo.
wasn't much to honor about my old man. That's for sure.
You shouldn't say that about your father.
I got the right.
I guess you do.
Ow!
Ow! Bedtime, kiddos.
I didn't think my... He never did. But I couldn't help feeling something... Sure, I had told Waka I'd help...
Alright, so we gotta make sure that we don't save, because saving is slow. And then bam, we skip that FMV. Like I said, we shouldn't normally be able to skip that FMV, but being able to bypass that is a free 30 seconds.
Yeah, it's not too painful if you miss that sort of skip, but it's a very nice time save.
It's free. They're a living, breathing, statistical impossibility. I've never seen a team this bad. That requirements for Wako's ultimate weapon. Blitzball is.
You want to get Waka's ultimate weapon in this run, Keeanolookalike?
No. I don't want to get Waka's weapon casually.
Without a doubt,
I love Blitzball casually, but after doing this speedrun, man, I don't want to hate it, but I do now.
I can't do Blitzball. I can't do Blitzball because you always end up in all the tournaments that you need to get the sigils or all that stuff. You always end up against the Albed Sykes, and you can't score on them. All the Albed Sykes are hopped up on HDH.
Oh man, the secret comes out, boys. So this scene in Japanese is much more worse than it is in English. Like Titus yells in JP.
what in Yevon's name were you doing up there?
So this is one of those situations where I can't do anything. This the upcoming cutscenes are basically auto scrollers. I can't do anything during them. Can't skip any of the text. You can't advance anything any faster. You just gotta sit here and wait for it. So again, this is another opportunity for breaks. If you needed to take a break, you can get up and go to the bathroom.
50
All that
years?
stuff.
Shouldn't he be retired by now?
Hey Kane,
what's up?
200% agree. I always get the Albed
Let's all
Sykes
go
and want to
see
die.
Kane here is also an FF10 runner.
Alright, so we get to meet management. Essentially management.
Can't see a thing.
So yeah, it's the pretty much one. I mean, aside from Sin, the main antagonist in the game.
That you don't know as that you're not supposed to know as an antagonist until a few hours into the run. In the casual sense, you wouldn't know if until about 20, I'd say about 18 to 20 hours of casual play before you realize that he's an antagonist.
Who could it be?
Isn't that Maester Seymour?
This is Seymour. And we also learn about Yevon, the religion, a little bit more here. So yeah, Seymour. Seymour is a pretty big NPC here in the game. We find him quite a bit in the run.
Spoilers.
Uh-oh.
I'm 99% sure that most of the people in this have played or know the story of this game. At least a little bit.
Rise, Maester Seymour. And all of you as well.
But yeah, the Seymour fights are notoriously pretty difficult in casual play. But in the speedrun, you'd be surprised in how fast we can make work with these encounters we get from him.
He has been officially
yeah, we won't. Not gonna spoil it too much as to how we break the game at the end, but it's what, hour 7? Right at hour 7 is when when the game opens up a lot.
Oh yeah. Near the end game is
carry on his legacy and to fulfill my duties as
if you haven't seen the
to
run
the
yet.
best of my abilities.
And if you have seen the run, then you know what's in store.
A whole lot of fun.
You too. Bow your head.
Bow your heads. It's important. Oh, I need to update Yuna's numbers.
Really psychs
I
you
have
up,
no
huh?
idea how many kills I got.
Alright, last
honestly.
meeting before the match. Also.
In Keeanolookalike.
Yeah.
I have no idea how many kills I got in Keeanolookalike. I want to say it's like 11. 11 or 13. Because I had 4 on the way in.
We had to play the
man. I'll be honest, I wasn't paying attention. Sorry, dude.
4, 6.
Oh, this locker scene is a big
9.
trap for a lot of runners, by the way. So Waka here reminds you how to, or you learn how to play Blitzball. You can get into the Blitzball tutorial here. So if you're not really careful on your mashing, you can get into this tutorial, and you have to do it once you get in. So you want to be careful mashing here, so that way you can get out as fast as you can. It could be, if you push for top times, that could be a dead run just by not paying attention here.
Tutorial percent loses 45 seconds. And like I said, this
Karakarn recently did that.
Did it for the first time.
Yeah.
Did it for the first time. His brain thought
It was the save menu.
Save menu.
Yeah. That's why I always hit cancel instead of directionals there now, because that way you get like 0% chance of messing up.
So cool little thing about that little cutscene there. If you mash correctly, you skip part of the enemy. You skip part of the cutscene for some reason. Why, I don't know, but it's a thing. There's a lot of different instances of stuff like that in the HD port. If you were to just normally mash X like most people would, you can't skip dialogue. But if you mash square and X at the same time, you can. On some. It's really weird. I have no earthly idea why the developers decided to make this a thing, but you'll notice it mainly in Zanarkand towards the end of the run. Alright, so here's just, like I said, Luca is probably one of the more boring, for lack of a better terms, sections of the run. it's just a lot of cutscenes and a lot of progression of story. There's a couple of cool little things that we do in the middle of it. Like, you know, we get into a couple of fights and all that stuff, but for the most part, it's just...
I'm sorry.
It's just story after story after cutscene after cutscene. And then we get to Blitzball, and that's horrible.
You're...
Shit, this is the little, I always call it the unit date scene, because I feel like every Final Fantasy game sort of has like a date scene. Around this era, right? Like, I think 7 had the gold saucer scene.
I hope we don't get... Yuna! What was...
So this is like the 10 equivalent of that.
In Xanarkin, we do this to cheer on Blitz players. You try it too. Put your fingers in your mouth like this.
Like... this?
Not like that. This. Then you just blow.
It's...
Hey, then... Well...
So here, Titus teaches Yuna the whistle. And it's kind of like a... I don't want to say important story point, but the whistle comes up a few times in the story.
What?
It's more important towards the end of the run, and then going into the next game of 10-2, if you decide to go through that.
10-2, what's that?
Because...
This is game after 10?
It's a big fan service is all it is.
The 10-2
What about Luke?
reception in the Final
It's
Fantasy
not any
community is
the Crusaders...
pretty...
They protect...
lukewarm at best, I guess.
Spira's...
It was a good idea.
If you guys are interested in how the community feels about
Is
Final
Xanac-
Fantasy X-2, just check out the leaderboards on speedrun.com. And there's a good old picture
Well, there are more buildings.
waiting for you.
Is there?
Yeah. Do you know what the picture is?
No.
Must...
All right. Well,
I've never
I guess
actually
I'll
looked.
spoil it.
Let's go...
So on the speedrun.com site, Chris, our good friend Chris here, changed the background picture of the leaderboards, and the picture is the game Final Fantasy X-2 in the trash can.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that picture now.
Orange.
Let's ask...
Also, this cafe scene is the inspiration behind one of my emotes. It's one of my favorite scenes in the entire run. And it just makes me happy. I don't know why, it just makes me happy.
The Shoru.
Yes.
Beat on. Maybe.
Take him.
Bam.
Take it outside.
Today on this glory to participate in
Kimari just uppercuts Yankei's head clean off.
all of
It's
these
so great.
Such is the nature of this. Let us sing to the contest.
Also, as a side note, there's going to be a lot of instances where I'm going to be skipping FMVs. If I don't talk about it, there's nothing important about it. I'm just skipping it as fast as I can. And yeah, that's it really. I'm just trying to get through them as quick as possible. All the ones that have any storages tied to them, we'll definitely talk about.
Yeah, we'll bring it up. Normally, yeah, it's just a regular skip. You can normally do that in casual play.
So Blitzball has begun, and Tidus is nowhere to be found, but Yuna's been kidnapped, and Kimari also eats those. Swing.
Where... Yuna's been kidnapped in exchange for her
So
safety.
after a bunch of story stuff, we
If they're
finally
only
get to play the
but
game
we
again.
shouldn't take-
A little bit.
Yeah, coming up here is the
They're telling me
Machina
Aurochs is-
encounters.
I mean,
And they're really relatively easy to deal
Waka.
with.
He'll take care of the.
So if you remember,
Yeah,
the
but
last thing that
let's-
Lulu did was in Besaid. That was her, well no, yeah, on the boat.
On the boat,
Lulu's
yeah.
last actions were casting thunder on the boat, and that actually is really, really helpful because her cursor is already there. And she's going to be the main thing that we use to kill these Machina. Machines don't like electricity, apparently, even though they run on electricity. So we're going to zap them.
But yeah, this is one of the great reasons why we keep the cursor to memory.
Among other things. Tidus and Kimahri don't really need to do anything, so we're just going to defend to mitigate some extra damage. At least for the first 2 fights. So there's 3 fights total, and the first 2 fights we're just going to try and mitigate as much damage on Tidus and Kimahri as possible. Lulu has a pretty high dodge rate, so we're not too concerned about her. If we have to throw a potion on her, we will. But oh yeah, I'm really good on AP.
You can get a haste like right before this battle. I mean, after this battle.
No, there's only 4. Each Machina has only 7.
Yeah, for you Lulu fans out here, this is where Lulu gets to shine. After this point, though, Lulu doesn't get much use in the run.
Yeah, Luca's the last time we use her. Unless we absolutely have to.
Yeah, unless we're gonna do Bribery all the same, but in Spare Change, this is the last point.
So the fact that Lulu hasn't been even targeted yet is really good.
Yeah, we want to. Good RNG is like having her in white health. Once she gets in the critical state, her animations take way too long.
So this is where we're going to start utilizing Tidus and Kimahri a little bit more. What we want to see is we want to see Tidus or Kimahri land 1 critical hit. Otherwise I have to do some extra stuff. Alright, so no critical hits yet, so that means I have to use Kimahri's Overdrive. We're going to use Seed Cannon to go ahead and take care of that Machina. So this is a wave fight. They're going to come in 3 waves. In waves 1 and 3, we go ahead and attack with Tidus and Kimahri. In wave 2, we want to get our turns reset, so we go ahead and defend with them again. Still no crits, huh? I'd really like to see a crit, but it probably won't happen. Otherwise, the Machina gets an extra turn.
It's pretty much how the fight normally goes, so crit's just good RNG.
Yep. Alright, so we got a pretty, I wouldn't say a big menu, but we do have a menu that I need to go ahead and take care of. I also need to pay attention to some inventory items while I'm doing it. So I'm going to focus for just a slight bit.
So yeah, I guess I can explain while Keeanu's focusing here. Keeanu's gonna grid Tidus. He's gonna learn haste and increase his stats a little bit. He's also gonna, well, I assume he's gonna use his potions on the to heal the party. And he's gonna aim to get 2 potions left in his inventory, so that way we need these 2 potions later down the road for a small tutorial that we can abuse. It's right here. Let's move down. Oh wow, that's a nice. I've never seen that before. I'm gonna steal that.
I have 1 left, but that's fine. As long as I have 1 in inventory, I can just use a power sphere. But yeah, that input, Steve, it's down, then down right, then right. And you jump straight. You jump straight to the node that you need to go to.
That's sick, dude. I'm gonna steal that for sure.
But if you hit right, if you keep hitting right, you don't go. It doesn't go the direction you need. You have to hit down first, then down right.
Okay.
Alright, so this is Obliterator. Obliterator is a free fight, for lack of a better term. What we're gonna do is, because I got haste on Tidus, I'm gonna use haste on Lulu. That's gonna allow me to get way more turns in. And what Lulu's gonna do is charge up this crane. Sorry, Steve, go ahead.
No, my bad, dude. Yeah, I was gonna say that this fight is pretty free, but this fight is actually kind of important too because you also can get a rare drop here. So this boss potentially drops lightning weapons, and we're looking for a lightning weapon for either Tidus or Waka that can help for a later boss fight down the road. We don't need it, but it's very good RNG if you get it. I think it's like a 20% chance for.
Yeah, so the way that weapon drops work, this boss has a 100% chance of dropping an equipment, whether it be armor or weapon. And since there's 5 party members, everybody gets an equal share at getting an equipment, except for one factor. The character that lands the final hit gets double chance. So with that being, with how we manipulate turn order, we make it so that Tidus always lands the final hit. And when Tidus lands the final hit, he gets double chance, so 20 times 2 is 40. He's a 40% chance of getting an equipment, so it's either a 50-50 if it's an armor or a weapon. If it's a weapon, it's always a lightning steel. If it's an armor, it's always a metal shield. And that goes the same for the rest of the characters.
And that metal shield, man, we get really salty when we see metal shield.
I got a Thunderball, though. So because of... That's kind of weird. I haven't gotten a Thunderball before. Ever.
Really?
I've never gotten a Thunderball from that fight. Ever.
Oh, dude. First time. On a marathon too, right?
Yeah. So the way that... So...
There were these all beds
the last character that lands a hit gets double. So Tidus gets a 40% chance of getting that equipment. Each of the other characters inertly splits the remaining percentage of the pie equally amongst themselves. So each character then gets a 15% chance of getting an equipment drop. And then you also have to remember that's a 50-50 whether it's an armor or a weapon. If it's an armor, it's always a plus 5% defense. And if it's a weapon, it's always a lightning strike weapon. So Tidus gets a 20% chance of getting a lightning steel, and Waka gets a 7.5% chance of getting the Thunderball.
He's my uncle, but I've never
So you got basically a 1 in 4 of getting a weapon that you really need. And the fact that I got it on Waka is kind of nice. Waka gets to do a little bit of extra damage.
On my mother's side, yes. Sid is my mother's brother. He became distant after my mother.
I'm also going to try a different strat since I got Thunderball
finally.
finally.
Seek him out if I ever needed help.
Something that I've wanted to test for a long time, but never had a Thunderball.
Don't tell Waka
I get to actually test now,
lineage.
so this is actually a really good opportunity.
He never had
I really want to know now.
So if you didn't, Steve, if you didn't know, as soon as this fight ends and you regain control, when you're supposed to normally do the grid if you didn't get enough AP, you can also equip items. You can also equip things to different characters. Well, even though Waka's blacked out in your party, he's still in your party, so you can change his equipment that he has on him at that time. So I'm going to equip him with the Thunderball in preparations for the Sahagins.
Really?
And I want to see if with the Thunder weapon against the Sahagins who are weak to Thunder, if he does enough damage to one shot without a crit.
This scene right here always makes Blitzball look a lot more epic than it really is.
Because if this was really Blitzball, like the Blitzball that you and I would be playing if we get into the Speed Sphere, or the Save Sphere, those goers would destroy us. It would not be a 3-2 game. You would not score that many goals on them.
So yeah,
If it was
we
Jack-
are getting into Blitzball.
Hey!
Which is very.
I know
probably one of the
You're
most
the one who
important
told-
splits for a lot of
And
runners.
I don't think Waka would.
So
You don't-
a lot of runners can have their runs die right here in the split.
So I went ahead and equipped Waka's Thunderball a little bit early. Like I said, I want to test something since I have an opportunity to. And we're going to see if it pays out or if it doesn't really make a difference.
Sure you. The game starts. We're playing the.
Also, Waka's in a lot of pain. He's very upset.
Are you?
All this. I'm so.
Hey,
Don't go near Al.
Like I said, I wish I hadn't made that big mistake and on the Achuli split. I'm really salty right now about that, but otherwise it's fine.
It's alright. I mean, at least you can just kind of play, right? You don't have to worry about playing against your time.
Yeah, that's true.
The game starts soon. No time for warm-ups. Ready?
let me at him.
All right.
So yeah, we got Thunderball on. We're gonna test that after Blitzball.
After this game,
But if you've ever wondered how you how the easiest way to beat the goers in this first game,
this would be my last tournament.
basically what we're gonna do is we're just gonna cheese them really hard. Something that very few people know about the stats of all the characters. Is every single character, every single player, whether it be the goers or the Aurochs, has exactly 60 speed, except for one character.
I'm warming the bench.
Jasu on your team has 61, and now you would think that one speed doesn't really mean a lot, but that one speed means that as long as you don't screw up how you move, Jasu can literally swim around in circles the entire sphere pool and never once get caught.
I saw you floating.
So
there
it
on a
helps you
sphere.
play super keep away from the goers, which is essentially what we're going to do.
Supposed to see that.
We're going to try and get the ball as quickly as possible and then keep the ball away from the goers, because as long as they don't have the ball, they can't score on us.
So yeah, this movement we call in the community the Jasu train.
You really.
So we're gonna see it first
gave it
action
your
here
all,
once Keanu
didn't
is
you?
able to get the ball back, or if he gets the ball instantly. So there's a 50% chance to get the ball right off the blitz off.
Also, I won't run a train if I don't have to. So there's also a couple of weird things with the programming of this game, where each character on defense has a radius of, like, their hitbox radius, I guess would be the easiest way to call it.
This looks like
As long as you never enter that radius, they never decide to say, hey, I'm going to go after you. So with all of the formations that the goers go into, like the different defensive formations that they go into, most of them have some blind spots in them that I will try and nestle my way into if I can. It doesn't save or lose any time either way. It's just if I don't have to run a train, it's less stressful. Because like I said, if by some happenstance you screw up movement or, you know, something unlucky happens,
Yeah, you can have
get
the whole team on you.
Exactly.
My guess is gonna be double Letty one grab, by the way.
I mean, if that's the case, it would be better than PB. So Luca was actually one of the spots in my PB that I had time save left. There's also going to be, in the second period, there's going to be a skip that I'm going to try and pull off, The window for that skip is super small. It's a really tight. It's a really tight skip. But if I can get it set up, I'll explain it after it happens. Be easier to do it that way. Alright, so I'm gonna focus a little bit.
I'll keep the commentating going. That's why I'm here, man. Nice, so we got a Letty right off the bat. That's very good RNG. So what Keeanolo's going to do here is he's going to pass it to Titus, because Titus needs experience to unlock Spear Shot for the second half of the Blitzball tournament. So right here, you get experience by completing an action here. So he's going to pass it to Jasu here. And Jasu, as he explained earlier, is our fastest swimmer. So nice. So if you just hug the edge of the arena like this, the goers just completely ignore you.
Yeah, this is one of those dead zones that I was talking about where most of the defensive formations will allow you to sit in this exact spot, and the goers are just like, they're not in my zone. I'm not supposed to go after them.
So the entire time, every single Blitzball player just runs around the circle. So, but it's very important to keep an eye on the mini-map, because every once in a while they can lock onto you. So our goal here.
This is the formation that I don't want to see in second period. If I get this formation, this is bad.
Our goal in this first half is just to drain the clock out. We want to score in the second half.
At least we get to listen to some decent music, though.
I'm not used to seeing these goer formations. I always do the Jasu train here, so.
Yeah, these formations are like, if you pay attention to the formations that they give you in the first period, it kind of gives you an idea of what formations the game is trying to give you. The thing about Blitzball is you unlock formations as you continue to play and progress through the Blitzball seasons. Right now you only have access to normal left side, right side, and mark mode, whereas the goers have every single defensive formation unlocked, and they can access them at any time. So you can do like center, line defense, left side, right side. Like, there's a whole bunch of different ones that they can do. And so what I'm looking for is I'm looking for specific defensive formations that they give me that I can attack. And so far right now, they're not giving me too many that are looking like they're going to be helpful.
The goers are just
remember, the goers are playing great.
Gotta say though, this is a riveting Blitzball match. What a great finals, Deep.
But that's about as good as the first period as you can get. Alright, so period 2 is a shortened period. I really got to get the ball as quickly as possible.
So, can we get that double Eddie?
Nice.
Yo, let's go. Prediction on point.
So for this one, we're going to hide behind the goal. This is another dead zone. Grav can still come after you, which is really bad, but I really need the goers to change formation, the defensive formations here soon, which they did.
Nice, that retreat is what you're looking for. So, normally what I do is I pass it to Jasu, and he's doing the same thing, yeah. So he's going to pass it to Jasu here, and he's going to reach to the bottom half of the arena, and around the 2-minute mark, or a little bit above it, he's going to try to attempt to score here. He's going to get, what do you call it?
Scoreboard
skip here. Yeah,
it's called scoreboard skip. What I'm going to basically try to do is I'm going to try and overlap 2 different scenarios at the same time. And so if the game does this, it basically skips some stuff. So if it's at 3 minutes and 2 seconds, the screen fades out, and the next portion of the game, the next portion of the match, or like the next few cutscenes start to play out. This is actually like perfect.
Alright, so he's gonna go for, try to bait out the goers right here. So he's gonna retreat, and then that leaves 2 people chasing Joss right here. And now he's gonna pass the ball to Titus.
I don't think I have enough time.
You might have to normal shot. You're gonna have to normal shot, maybe.
Nah, I was too late.
Alright, so walk the strats it is.
Pretty much. So, like I said, the timing for that's super tight, and I was a little bit too late on it. I had the good setup for it, but I probably should have not passed over Avis. I should have let him try and tackle me, because that extra animation of him trying to block drained the time. So, that's unfortunate that I didn't get the skip. Getting the skip, so basically what happens is the screen faded out, right? So once an action plays out, like once you shoot on goal, there's a little cutscene that plays where the camera angles a certain way and the goalie dives at the ball, and it either goes in or it doesn't. Well, at the very beginning of that screen, once that starts, whatever happens has already occurred. So if I can time the screen fade out to occur at the very beginning of that animation, it skips, if I was to score, it skips the ball going into the goal, it skips the scoreboard panning across the screen and the numbers changing, and it also skips the following blitz off. But I still get the goal, I still get credit for the goal. So
it saves about 17 seconds, I believe. It's a nice time save.
Yeah, it's about 17 to 20 seconds of time save.
Very hard to get.
It's the window for it is pretty small.
To be honest,
and
it really was the Oryx and Walker
I was
show
off. I was
after
off
all.
by about an RTA second. I was about a second late. And now that I'm thinking back and looking at it, if I had allowed Avis to tackle me, whenever the players are tackling each other, the timer doesn't play. But whenever they're going up for a block, the timer does. So I probably should have just let him tackle me and then passed over it and saved that time. But it is what it is. I can't really do anything about it. Hopefully Letty gets the ball again. Otherwise, this is going to be a struggle bus, because I have a very limited amount of time to score the goal. Otherwise, we go to overtime, or the goers score.
We'll have to rely on Walker here to give us the score. So let's see what the bliss off is.
What a time.
Whoa, triple Letty. That's the best RNG you can get. So
what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and
score early.
Yeah, I'm just going to score.
Yeah, that's a smart play. So we're gonna do the same setup here we did with Titus, but instead we're just gonna pass it to Waka, and Waka has Venom Shot, which gives him a 16 shot. So he's gonna swim up to the goal here. No one can block him because the goers were aggroed to Josu here.
So
this is a free score.
Yeah, the only downside to scoring early is it gives the ball back to the goers, and they don't have a lot of time, but they have enough.
Yeah, in their formation, their AI acts differently once they get scored on.
So I'm gonna switch to mark mode here to force a little bit of extra time. So what Grav's AI is now doing is it's swimming around to all the different characters and forcing actions. So now that he's gone through the first two, we're gonna switch it back to normal, and this is gonna allow my two defenders to converge. He's passing it to Avis.